Raider Nation. It is Saturday night, and we are back with something special. The Truth Telling Squad is here, and it's a hell of a week in Raiderville. Twists and turns, and can you follow the plot? Or I'm having trouble with it. I don't know.
Twists and turns, ups and downs, all kind of plot twists, man. But we're gonna talk about it all. And what's up, good people? Shout out to the Raider Nation. Please make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. You know, we appreciate you guys being here. It's always good, you know, to be here with my homeboy. But Hotspot Black, you know, it's just good, you know, be here. And I got a lot to say. I got a lot to delve into.
Yeah, me and Black got to go through a little bit of this, you know, through the week. But you have been just sitting on this crazy volcano for at least a week here. So I'm just gonna open up the show by saying, Western, go ahead go ahead, man.
All righty then. Thank you for setting the stage for me here. So I just want to start with let's go back to the Charger game. I just gotta tip my hat there and say that I called that game. And then I'll go forward, you know, here. So
I did too. So just know that.
So let's talk about the Tom Brady effect that is happening here, because you know a lot of the moves and changes that is happening right now, it wouldn't be happening unless the Tom Brady himself and the effect is in place. So first, let's go to Antonio Pierce being fired, right? I know that there's a lot of people that were upset and mad, you know, how we did things, about how we had him come out, you know, the day after and he did his press conference, and we should have fired him the same day, like how the Patriots did their coach. You know, I understand that aspect, right? We did do him dirty on that part, right? But at the end of the day, it's a business. So I'm playing both sides of the sword there on that part there. And then for all the Antonio Pierce fans and people out there who wanted to keep them, who were like, well, if Pierce is getting fired, why is he getting fired when most of the Pierce fans felt like it was Tom Telesco's fault? Well, Antonio Pierce fans, guys and gals, you guys got what you wanted. Guess what? Tom Telesco got canned too, so he's gone. So I know a lot of, and I've heard this on different outlets, on different lives. You know, I'll be at work and I have my earpod in, you know, and I'm working, and I hear fans call in and they're on different shows and they're like, hey, you know, and Tony Pierce was gone. I wasn't happy with the outcome of that, but now I'm satisfied because Tom Telesco's gone. So to that aspect, to what they're saying, you know, that's, look, at the end of the day, they have a job, they got to feed their family, right? And nobody wants to get fired, but it is a business and it is what it is. Now, so I want to bring up a fun fact about Tom Telesco here. Fun fact: who was the last two teams that Tom Telesco was a part of and faced before he was fired?
Man, just don't face your former.
You know, there are Bob Blair fans going on. It was the Raiders and the Chargers. So, Mr. Tommy T, you know, and then I just want to bring this up here too. So the Raiders, they did hire Jed Hughes of the search firm from Korn Ferry to help compile a GM and head coach candidate search. So some people out there, you know, like they're all, who the heck is this guy, you know? But so I just want to say something. I just want to don something here. Hughes helped the placements of the following head coaches: Pete Carroll with the Seahawks, Andy Reid with the Chiefs, Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, and Bruce Arians with the Bucks. So if you ask me, that's not bad at all. Not bad.
No. And that's just a sample, because there's more than that. He was also responsible for the GM Schneider in Seattle, some other stuff. So some really good placements. John Harbaugh in Baltimore was his work. So some real hits there, and just the fact that we have someone that professional and kind of polished doing that stuff. Very different than what we're used to
Raider
hearing.
Ryan, shout out. May Spitfire, shout out. All people in the chat, salute to you. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you.
But yeah, very different. And the kind of thing that you want to see from a team that's trying to kind of change things, right? That wants to be different. So awesome. Right.
So
he's worked all over the place.
Yeah.
I think he put Kerr in place or something like that too. Right. So
yep, yeah, that's true. That's true. So, the Raiders stated that they want chemistry, stability, coherence, and alignment with the head coach and the GM. So that means a lot to them. And a perfect example to their part is like how Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch both came in at the same time in San Fran, and check out how they're doing things there. Like they're doing great things over there. And then they also said that the Raiders came out and said, they want a head coach with experience. So before I dive in deeper on that, I'm going to take the back seat here, and then I would like to hear y'all take on that and our head coach search and the candidates, and all that good jazz.
I think it was interesting, some of the stuff that he's said so far about, and I'm talking about Mr. Jed there, right? The things that he said previously regarding, kind of how things work, or the data that he compiled when trying to figure out how to make things work for these kind of GM coach hires. I think it's interesting that he pointed out that a lot of times what happens when they're successful is that the team has a first-time GM who comes before the coach. So keep that in mind, guys. Right? We may have settled on a coach. I doubt we announce one before we announce who the GM is going to be. So we may get a GM that clues us into who the coach would be, right? Do some sort of connection. Especially because if we are trying to pursue someone who is in the playoffs actively, it's going to be a while before we can actually show or name that person as head coach, right? Some names, just so we remember who's out there. There's the flustering about the Belichick thing, but now it looks like other teams are also trying to talk to him, so it's most likely that was a real conversation. Pete Carroll has been getting some big ups, supposedly having some momentum from some articles that came out. Vrabel looks like he's going to New England based on the fact that Aaron Glenn canceled his New England appointment and will not be interviewing with them. So he must know something, right? And that's why we've been there's been something real so hush on Vrabel. I think that's pretty much a done deal, and why they can their guy so fast, right? There's still Cohen, from the offensive coordinator from the Bucs, Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs. Munkin is the quarterback OC at Baltimore, who's going to be interviewing also. Aaron Glenn, who we touched on, interviewed the same day as Ben Johnson. And just so you know, that means that we have qualified for the Rooney Rule, right? So we can announce a coach at any time, right? Those are the main ones. You've got Dion still kind of lingering out there. Rumors are that he's making it clear about what he wants to do, and that he might be interested in coaching a certain Raider team. Robert Saleh came in, which is interesting. I don't see him as a real option as a head coach, but maybe
coordinator.
coordinator situation. Can he work with Ben Johnson, or if that's going to be a thing? And of course, the Ben Johnson thing, right? From all reports, just like Pizzle is saying here in the chat, so that interview went well. So that's good to hear.
So I got a whole chunk that I would like to talk about this whole head coaching choices. But before I do that, I don't want to cut the line here, and I would love to hear Black's take on this.
Yeah. So what do you think, Black? We kind of laid out who's out there. What are your thoughts right now?
I don't think nothing. No, I mean generally when I'm like I guess investigating or trying to get to the bottom of something, I just postpone my judgment until I get as much of information as I can. And so being that it's so murky right now, and it's a period of time where coaches are just going, like interviewing all over the place, there's going to be very little that we could tell. It was a good indicator that Johnson actually did come and interview with us, and it was quite early in his process. So we actually had a real shot. We had a real shot of impressing him, even if we weren't far on his radar. So I think that was a good thing. I did hear that we wanted to get a coach that was experienced. I agree with that because of the division that we play in. But if you do have a chance to go for the home run in a Johnson and you can land him, then do what you got to do to make that happen. But other than that, I really don't know, because it could be Gruden, something that didn't just come up. It could be Dion. Like, how can you pretty much say, I'll coach if I can coach my sons? I mean, like, you don't even know who drafting your sons. So you don't know unless you do know. And, so it's too many leaves that's blowing in the wind right now that it could be. But I think, like I said, if I don't hear nothing by this time next week, then I kind of think they already knew who they wanted already. They just playing it out, and it would be Johnson if that's the case. But if they announce someone sooner than that, then I think they already knew who they wanted before they even got rid of Telesco.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Absolutely.
I think the only thing that would delay an announcement in that case is, the Ben Johnson thing, and just not being eligible until the season's over, right?
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I got a whole thing on this here. So please allow me to take the show for a couple of few ticks here. So let's start with Ben Johnson here, right? The hot commodity right now, the shiny toy prize that all the teams are after now, right? So Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator right now, we can't sign him officially till after the playoffs, right? But he could verbally agree to something with Tom or Mark Davis, right? But let's be real and let's talk facts here. The only reason why Ben Johnson is giving us a breath of air and showing his face on a virtual interview with us is the Tom Brady effect. This the Tom Brady effect. That's the place. If Tom Brady was not there in the building putting his hand in all this, there's no way we would even get that interview with Ben Johnson. And Ben Johnson could be the next Sean McVay. Who knows? Right? So I want to bring up this here on Ben Johnson, and I read this comment on a Bears person's page because I like to go deep, and like things like that. So this is what the Bears fans said about Ben Johnson, which is what I think my cons with him would be if we were to hire him. So look, he said, I can't articulate things, but I don't want a new hot offensive coordinator to be a first-time head coach with a dysfunctional team like ours that needs a lot of help. I want an established head coach who has been around numerous locker rooms and can bring a strong culture in. someone who has worked successfully in organizations with previous winning records. We need someone who has seen both sides of losing and winning, but has done it without tons of turnover and turmoil. Ben Johnson is great, no doubt, but as a head coach, he needs to know how to manage and run the entire team and control the locker room and get guys to buy in on both sides of the ball. He needs to be a leader of men in the team. The coach also needs to have a solid group of connections that he truly trusts and knows how to piece together a strong coaching staff. I just don't know that someone like Ben Johnson is bringing all that to this team. I definitely have my concerns. So when I saw that, that definitely hit home with me because that is kind of how I feel about Ben Johnson if things don't pan out. Now, don't get me wrong, Raider fans, if you guys are here watching this live, thank you guys for tuning in. I definitely would like
Who,
and
who said
so
that?
this was a Bears fan um because they're doing their whole coaching search too
Hmm. He
and
was a candidate.
yeah, he was a candidate there. So I saw this and I thought that it was pretty interesting because it hits home with me. So I thought I
Hmm.
would share that because that's how I feel the same way with that fan there. So
Yeah.
back to Ben Johnson, right? So I would definitely like to get him as our head coach. He's our top target, right? Target. He's our main guy on our top target scope right now. Bullseye drawn in right now, and I would love to have him. But my only knock on him is what I just said right now. And then for all the people who don't know, there's also rumors saying that he would like to bring Hendon Hooker with him. It's a rumor that I heard that he would like to bring Hooker to the team too. Is if he is the coach of our team. Now we'll be getting BJs and Hookers in Vegas. Ah, so um, with that being said, you know, we're only getting the interview with Ben Johnson because of the Tom Brady of effect there, and I don't want to keep going on and on, but I just want to go quickly on the other coaches here, right? So let's talk about Pete Carroll. So a lot of people on Pete Carroll, fans out there, the whole take with Carroll, right, is they say that he's too old, right? He's too old. He has to get in his wheelchair, all this blah blah blah. I've heard it all, right? But look at former Super Bowl winning coaches who came back to coach and had good success. Dick Vermeil, Bill Parcells, Joe Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
And some people might say, hey, Pete might ask Tom or Mark Davis for too much power, right? But in Seattle, they did offer him a GM/coach opportunity and it turned it down because he lets his coordinators do his thing and he does not intervene. He's a Super Bowl winning coach who can build a solid staff and he has a good coaching tree. Someone who won't be intimidated by the other three future Hall of Fame coaches in this division because this division right now is a masterclass of coaches right now. And an added bonus, I would love to see him feud with Jim Harbaugh again. So that's something that I would like to see. Back to Bill Belichick, right? The thing about Bill Belichick is that if you guys remember what he did with the Jets, he got hired by the Jets and then he dipped on them. So
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of
Mm-hmm.
wishy-washy, and all he has to do is get that $10 million bonus, and somebody could buy him out of his contract with North Carolina right now if he chooses to be a head coach. Mike Vrabel, hotspot. I texted you last week, and I called it, and I said that Mike Vrabel is going to go to the New England Patriots. I mean, the writing was on the wall, so I'm about 99.9% sure that he's going to the Patriots. Todd Monken, if we get him right, he loves a mobile quarterback in his scheme. He loves mobile quarterbacks. So if we get him, we're definitely going to get a mobile quarterback. Now let's go to Gruden. I love John Gruden. John Gruden is my most favorite Raider coach because he's the coach who I seen as me growing up, who had the most success with the Raiders when I was growing up. But that Gruden train is over, and there's a bunch of fans out there who say, well, we're still paying him on the books. He could just come back and coach our team. That's not how it works. If we do inquire about Gruden, he's going to want a whole new contract. So, and I just don't think that that's going to happen. I mean, it can, but the percentage is very small. If we did hire Gruden, I wouldn't mind it, but he ain't on the top of my top choices for a head coaching candidate. Last but not least, let's talk about Dion. Look, Dion is more of a money/sales, primetime games, box office hit move, where Ben Johnson is more of a wins type move. Now, if we get Dion, it's a better chance that we're going to get his sons, actually plural. And then coaches that are okay, to me, Liam Cohen's okay, but now this is just me. I have to be sold more by him. I definitely don't entertain the option of Byron Leftwich like other fans do. Like they really are high on Byron Leftwich, and they see something that I don't see, but I'm not high on him. Bobby Slowick, he's cool, but I'm not, as high on, him, but, he's kind of like my worst case, you know what I mean? Aaron Glenn, I'm calling it right now. He's going to the Saints. I'm calling that now. I do not want Brian Flores. That's just me. I do not want Steve Spagnuolo as coordinator, yes, but he has terrible success as a head coach, and I would definitely entertain him or actually we did have an interview with him yesterday, and it's good that we could pick his mind about the Chiefs, but I don't want him head coaching our team. And dark horse coach to watch, just in case he might get fired, not filed, is Mike McDaniels from the Dolphins. I would like him as an offensive coordinator just in case he gets fired because, he could drop good plays. Now, the last thing I'm going to say with my ranting here, my ideal coaching situation here would be head coach Ben Johnson or Pete Carroll, offensive coordinator Chip Kelly, and defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, and then I'll save my GM picks after. But that is my whole take on that. There, I've been doing a bunch of searching and diving in research, and all that. But yeah, I feel pretty confident in my whole take I just said. And shout out to Airsoft Dude.
So you talking about the same Chip Kelly that was in Philadelphia?
Yes, but not as a head coach though, as a offensive coordinator. But yes.
Not a name that I've even really considered this cycle, but very talented play caller in his own right. Maybe not a guy who can, manage a big group of men towards a Super Bowl victory and that sort of thing. So maybe in the right, situation, more success. So
my ideal pick for offensive coordinator would be Kellen Moore from the Eagles, right? But Eagles, they are a great, franchise. They are going to keep him, but he draws up great plays too.
I can see that. So my little offensive coordinator crush right now is Josh McCown, who is actually the quarterback's coach out in Minnesota.
For a split second, brother, I like Josh McDaniels. I was like, wait a minute, that guy you wanted to beat up? I was like, you're gonna beat up, and then hey, it's all right. You're gonna do a little handshake after.
Oh, the beef is never over between me and Josh. Joshy boy. All right, no, McDumbass.
Fizzle says, "Woo, Ric Flair."
So yeah, I think there's some dark horse people out there too. Mike McCarthy, what happens with him?
I heard that Dallas is him and Jerry Jones, aka bootleg Mark Davis. Al Davis. He's trying to work things out with him. But
yeah, but Mike McCarthy might just get smart and be like, "Why would I come back here? This shit show." There's other jobs out there. Maybe I should just take a different job.
But he draws up good, plays too. I just want to know if Jerry Jones or Jerry World would just be like, "Here's cash, shut up, take it." You know what I mean? And then that's that.
Yeah. He might. He might. And then the idea that Kevin O'Connell may be obtainable via some sort of trade, the coach for the Minnesota Vikings. So that's another kind of dark horsey thing sitting out there, just to keep an eye on. But yeah, don't sleep on Josh McCown. I think he's going to be one of those dudes as we move forward. But so let's talk about this. This May Spitfire says, I just don't know how we end up landing Shador. All right, I'm going to go through this scenario one more time for you guys. And I'm going to break down how Shador Sanders ends up with the Raiders, right? So I think most of us are pretty familiar with the draft order at this point. The first pick in the draft belongs to the Houston Texans, right? A lot of feeling around that they just kind of don't want to have to make that pick there. I don't think that they feel like one player or one of these quarterbacks is going to be, the big difference maker for them. I think they feel like they have more holes, right? So I think they're probably pretty open to trading back. We'll see what happens there. But, you have the possibility of the Giants trying to get up there at 3, and Tennessee coming back to 3. It's not that big of a deal for them as far as positioning. Allows them to pick up some stuff, right? If that does happen, the Giants, I'm telling you guys, are going to pick Cam Ward. And I think when the rankings actually, I put the rankings up for quarterbacks, the biggest surprise is that I think Cam Ward is going to be QB1, guys, on my rankings.
Oh, yeah.
So,
definitely Cam Ward will be the first quarterback drafted in this upcoming draft for sure, hands down, unless there's a unbelievable turn of events where Sanders just wows them, or he does something in the combine, but if I were to bet, right now, I would bet a huge lump sum that Cam Ward will be the top quarterback taken in this draft. And then back to the question from May, or no, the
landing Shador.
Said about Sanders. If so, I know a lot of fans want Deion Sanders as coach. You're like, Deion primetime, right? For all the Deion fans, like Airsoft dude here who loves Deion primetime and wants him to be our coach so bad, right? That will be the best chance of us getting Sanders, is if primetime is our coach, and then he could just be like, look, I'm gonna tell these these coaches and teams straight up, like, look, you could try to draft my son, but he ain't going there. He ain't playing there.
Yeah, he's not going to Cleveland. Deion Sanders just completely out of his own volition came out and called the ownership for Tennessee ridiculous for their choice of firing Rand Carthon as the GM. I think that means something. The Giants look like a dumpster fire, right? I'm not sure he would be happy with Tennessee, Cleveland, or even the Giants. I think the Giants are going to trade up anyway and go after Cam Ward, right? And if he's not signing off on Tennessee or Cleveland, then we get to this place where now it's New England and Jacksonville and then us, right? Both New England and Jacksonville do not need quarterbacks, right? So we may just sit at 6, or maybe a small trade up to make sure we secure Shador or something, because someone else might be offering to get up there too. Maybe the Jets decide they want to make a move, right? So that is kind of the scenario where we end up landing Shador, or that he just kind of
say that last part
falls a little bit.
Say that last part again, because how do we end up with him? Because if if
If
Cleveland,
the Giants go up to 1, right, and they take Cam, Dion basically is going to tell Tennessee and Cleveland, don't draft him. There's no point. He's not playing for you, right? He already said that there's some teams he would not let him play for. I'm assuming that would be the teams like a team like Cleveland, who's notoriously bad place for a quarterback to go, and the team that he came out and just recently called their ownership nonsensical or whatever, right, for their move in the front office.
All right.
I also want to point out that he made a statement about Louis Riddick and how well he would fit in as a GM and how good of a personal guy he is and how he should be getting serious looks. So that could be a sign of who would be paired with.
Big no to Louis Riddick. Great dude. Great, player and all that. I get it, but I said this before the show started. Raider fans, and this goes with the John Gruden pick too. You got to stop picking with your heart and pick with the chart. Stop making decisions on your heart and go with the chart. Okay. It's I'm gonna just say it, cut the bull crap. Cut the crap.
According to Jed, we're supposed to pick a first-time GM, so I mean he would be a first-time GM.
Yeah, I honestly just don't. I don't see Louis Riddick. I don't want a Mike Mayock situation again. I don't want it. I don't want it. I am cool, off that. So speaking of GMs, so thank you, Hotspot, for saying this. So I'm gonna go to GMs now because you just opened that beautiful door for me to talk about GMs here. So let's go to GMs.
It's called a segue. Thank you.
So the GMs here. So a GM who I'm about to name right now. He's been trying to be our GM for the past 2 years. He's came out and said, hey, I would love to be the Raider GM. And this guy also has ties with Pete Carroll in Seattle too. And he's also the assistant GM of the Colts right now. And that guy is Ed Dodds. And he also had a previous stint with the Raiders too, when Jim Harbaugh was a part of the Raider staff in the early 2000s. So that's one GM to keep an eye out also for. And then let's go to Ray Agnew, the defensive Lions assistant GM. Now, I'm going to just say it, and we all know, he's good at drafting players. That whole GM front office is great at drafting players. And then let's go to this one here, which I love this guy's last name here because it reminds me of the Terminator, John Spytek, like Skynet, John Spytek. So that's Tampa Bay's assistant general manager. So he works with Mike Greenberg, not from ESPN, but he was with the Tampa Bay Super Bowl staff when Tom Brady was there, and he knows Brady and has ties with Mark Davis as well. So that's another thing to keep an eye out for. And then there's Alec Hallaby, the Philadelphia Eagles assistant GM who works with Howie Roseman. And to me, in my personal opinion, the Eagles, Howie Roseman and that GM front office there has the best GM front office there because they hit their picks and they know how to draft and they create wonders with their choices on players. So I would definitely like that choice there. And then one final name is Mike Borgonzi, the Kansas City assistant GM. I mean, come on. He's phenomenal at building in the trenches. I mean, and finding talent. I mean, he found Chris Jones and the whole Chiefs franchise, it's a good pedigree as we all know and seen.
Plus, we'd weaken them, so that's always good.
Absolutely.
Steal from those guys.
May Spitfire says John Spygate.
Fair enough. Yeah. I think this is funny too. Shout out to Champ Kelly as an idea of just elevating that man, which I think he's brilliant. And, hopefully we can keep him around because he's so smart. and he's still here now, so that's a good sign. So we'll keep fingers crossed.
I honestly thought that he would see the door too, and I'm shocked that he's on our staff still.
Well,
I thought
who's been making these good GM moves that that are kind of off to the side a little bit, but have been huge for us, like Le'Veon Chason. Who
yeah. So one thing I do want to bring about Tom Telesco too. So one thing that I think why he also got let go too. I mean, aside from Tom Brady having his hand in that, I mean, I would find it funny if Tom Brady called Bill Belichick and was like, "Hey, is Tom Telesco like good GM?" And then Bill Belichick's like, "Nope," and then he's like, "Okay, you're gone. You're okay, done." Right? But Tom Telesco, right? He got some good players in the draft for us. You got Bowers, all that. But the thing about Tom Telesco is that they do call him Coupon Tom for a reason. Is that he's shy to be aggressive, and that's also another factor why I think he's gonna. I mean, why he's gone. Because I think Mark and Tom and whoever our head coach who's going to come in is like, hey, I want a GM who will do what it has to take to make moves happen. And aside from Tom, drafting great players and stuff, he was a little conservative and not as aggressive in that aspect.
Yeah, I think if you assess this team and say, what is the big disappointment, right, from from last year, right? We couldn't run the ball. We had no running back. So they could be holding him responsible for that. Who was the replacement for Josh Jacobs if you're not bringing him back? Alexander Madison?
Yeah, so that is a great point, and I brought this on the past shows too. I really think that Pierce and Tom were sold on Zamir White, and as a backup kind of thing, Tom brought in Alexander Madison as the worst comes to worst, which we all know how that panned out, right? But I definitely feel your aspect on that, because I had high hopes on Zamir White too, right? But I got a feeling right now, and I'm going to just call it right now. The starting running back for the Raiders going into this new season is not on the roster yet.
Oh, no way. Yeah. No, we got to get a running back in the off season. I think we should clear the room. Maybe Sincere. But everybody else can just go. You know what I mean? I just don't see the talent. What do you think, Black? Because I know you've been mad at this running back room the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, to say that the quarterback that's going to start for us is not on the roster is like jumping out the first floor of a building. Like, that ain't a large leap. Like, I'll be surprised if any of them is even on the roster. If any of the running backs that we have on the roster is on our roster, more or less starting for us. I mean, like, oh boy, what's his name? The practice squad player,
Sincere McCormick.
He deserves a roster spot, like a roster spot. Like, don't start. I didn't say a roster start. I said a roster spot. So let him do his thing. Let him matriculate into the offense and see what happens, because we might end up needing him again in a certain situation, but we don't want to have to call him up or let another team snatch him as soon as they put him on a practice squad. So yeah, I'm with you, brother, though, that we got to do something about the running back room. It's just that we have so many holes in the boat. It doesn't make sense to me to spend more than 10 minutes on one particular thing, because it's just too many holes in the boat. But a lot of those holes can be plugged up once we understand who the head coach is going to be, and then we know what kind of are we using silicone or are we using putty, epoxy, what we using? So I'm just waiting to see what we're gonna do. It's just good to hear everybody perspective, because I can also hear some things that I did not know before, and you dropped a lot of good information. So I'm just taking it all in, pause, and I'm just making
y'all.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what we're gonna do, because the Raiders are gonna Raider at the end of the day.
Okay, let's catch up to the chat because we've had a lot of action over here. Stuff.
Salute to the chat. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe to our channel. It's free.
Yes. We don't have a show without y'all doing this. It's really y'all, because we could just be here talking to ourselves like we do sometimes.
That is a great question you just asked, Airsoft dude. So I'm gonna just dive in this one here real quick. So I'm gonna just say, do you think Max will win out if he doesn't approve a coach, or you think Brady will put the water bottle down on the? So if you watch one of the most recent Max Crosby Rush podcasts he did, he changed his whole aspect from what he said last year to this year. He said, well, this time, I'm going to just sit back. I'm going to just play. I'm going to do my job. You know why? Because Max Crosby has buyer's remorse. Because last year, it's like, if we don't sign, Pierce, trade me, blah, 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 right? But this time, he's seen the effects of his words and how his words kind of fucked up. Sorry, pardon my language, chat. How kind of messed up the team a bit, right? And if you see him now, he's more conservative with the words that he's saying, and he's like, that ain't my job. I'm gonna just go out there and play, but he will one out if we do not win, because I've been saying that, because he said the bottom line, I just want to win. I just want to win football games. Mm-hmm. Winning means a lot to me. So,
So this is the thing about the Max Crosby thing. Let me start with the he gonna one out. Every player, once they get to a certain part of their career, and especially if they've been losing, they're gonna want to make a change. They're going to change the scenery. So that's just natural. That's not a Max Crosby being a rebel type thing, in my opinion, right? Mm-hmm. But as far as the buyer's remorse, I hear that word thrown around a lot, and I'm trying to consecrate that in my mind, because it's kind of like this for me. I thought like to throw these analogies out there. It's like when you guys go home shopping and the kids say, "Oh, I like this house. If I don't get this room, I'm gonna be upset," and all that. And y'all been looking at houses and all that stuff, and y'all missed out on a house, but y'all passed because y'all thought it was good, Versace, but y'all knew it was an emotional hire. So y'all decided, okay, we're gonna listen to the kid this time. And so when the kid find out it ain't what it thought it was, then y'all want to blame the kid. Don't blame the kid. You don't never listen to the player when it comes down to the coach. Not to say you shouldn't take their opinion, because their opinion might have some merit to it. But if they back off of it, I wouldn't use them in my bullseye. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say, well, Max Crosby is if he don't approve of this upcoming coach, Max Crosby don't have a choice, especially if he has a coach that comes in with a pair of gonads, because then he'll be gone just like they did Khalil Mack. So if he really want to go, he would keep that same energy. I just think that he was just rah-rahing for AP. It did backfire. I don't think he got buyer's remorse because he's still here. I could see if he lost his job over it, but I just think that he just, I like that. That's my car. That's my car. That's my car. You know what I'm saying? Like, I take it with a grain of salt what Max talking about.
Man, yeah, I think it's pretty well put. I can't really say it better myself. You don't listen to the kid and let them make the decision, right? You get their input, but ultimately you're the adult, right? So how are you gonna sit there and blame the player? Players are emotional. They're supposed to be emotional. They're supposed to be tied to coaches and shit like that. So I think that's a great analogy, man. That's awesome. Let's get to the next one. Jerry Jones is treating him like an abusive wife. Take all my shit. Here's the money. Go buy something to make you smile. Airsoft.
That's a good analogy. Okay.
Perfect. The analogy train is on fire today.
That was pertaining to Mr. Mike McCarthy. Yeah, it'd be like, just shut up and take this cash and go coach. You know,
go coach. Like I told you, buy yourself something nice. You know, you like fur.
Yeah, and to his last comment about Khalil Mack, Mack did want the bag. Yeah, that analogy doesn't, cover all four. It's like for majority of the scenario, it was if you want to feel a certain kind of way, you can go type deal if you ain't with the new regime. That's the point that I'm making when it comes to Max Crosby. In Khalil Mack position, it's a little bit easier to let him go because he was up on contract. But with Max talking about guaranteed money, it's like almost the same. It's similar because all he got to do is act like he don't want to play and act like Devontae Adams, and he will be gone. You know what I'm saying? New contract.
Right. So
I think the difference is he's still negotiating with us. Khalil Mack would not pick up the phone for John Gruden.
So one thing also about Max Crosby too is that he said that he wants to be the highest paid defensive guy, right? And I don't see him getting more money than Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? And
he will because he signed it after him.
I don't know about that.
So I think I love Crosby, right? He's great. I'm happy he's on our team, right? But Myles Garrett is better than Max Crosby, and I'm gonna just say that. And I don't think with all that Max is asking for, especially with what he did with his buyer's remorse, right? He's asking for a lot of stuff, and it just doesn't.
He's a prime position player in his prime. Myles Garrett may be better. Probably is better than Max Crosby, but like Tom Brady was better than Aaron Rodgers or whatever. Doesn't mean that like he always made more money. Right.
But Tom Brady
took, like who got signed last.
But Tom Brady took pay cuts to better the team, though.
Even so, like the quarterback.
So that's not fair to say.
I mean, Derek Carr was the highest paid quarterback at one point, right? Like when you're talking about premium positions and you're trying to you pay him. You just pay him, right? There's no we're gonna try to slot you in at less than Myles Garrett because we think Myles Garrett's a little bit better than you. Max will be gone, bro. Like, you need to pay him the going rate for a defensive end, and
let
then
him go. Let him go because it won't be worth it wouldn't be worth it. Just would definitely not be worth the squeeze if we gonna do that. It'd be better to trade him because. Like, Max Crosby is not a game changer right now. He's not.
Myles Garrett. He's not a Bosa.
No, we talking about.
He was last year. Right? So this year he was hurt.
And I'm not hating on Max Crosby at all, but and this is just my take on it. But he ain't up there with the Garretts and the Bosas and the Watts, and
he right there.
If you look at all the stats, he is though. Like every single stat says he is.
Fuck them stats. Look at how look because if we looking at the stats, then we gotta look at how he played this year when we weren't. I'm talking about before he started talking about before he got injured, because he wasn't injured at the beginning of the year.
He was balling.
He was because he had the most pressures. Like he had the most pressures in the league. He didn't lead the league.
He wasn't.
He was,
but he was up there.
No, he did have sacks at the beginning of the year. That's true. That's true. He was. He was a. But now I wouldn't give him the most in the league. Me personally, I'd give him his bag, what's comparable. You know what I'm saying? Give him something that's comparable because he has.
So we talking
earned
about
some
the
of it.
difference,
But
a little difference.
we,
This could be the same thing as Josh Jacobs' mistake. where we
having
sit here
him or
trying to
not
save
having him
pennies.
ain't gonna break or make or break us. Having him or not having him is not making or breaking us. It's not.
I disagree.
It's not.
I think you keep your great players. I think, especially as pass
If
rushers.
that's the general rule, yeah. But I'm just saying, as a general rule, yeah. But now looking at him, he's not making or breaking the Raiders for real. He's not.
I don't know.
Now we put a good defense on the field, then it's gonna be a force multiplier. But now we got to go with a whole new defense. Now, what if we go another 2 years trying to find our defense and Max Crosby do anything? Anything. We already accused him of pushing the coach down. We already accusing him of having buyer's remorse. We already accusing him being above the shield. We're accusing him of all kinds of stuff. God forbid that we try to find a defense in the next 2 years and he don't want to, and he ain't playing on guaranteed money. That's a problem. That's going to be a problem, a big problem.
Great take. And I just want to bring up Jared Gonzalez's comment right here. He says, pay Max top $5, just not the top, if that makes sense. Talk that shit, man. Talk that shit, because I agree right there. I don't.
Why does it matter if it's not our money?
I don't want to lose him, right? But I just don't feel he is worth to be paid the highest player in that position.
Neither was Derek Carr. It was just
the difference with Derek Carr is this. Derek Carr, we knew he wasn't going to be the top paid quarterback for about.
And quarterbacks are different because they're harder to come by.
Happens with defensive ends and corners too.
But when we talking contract, with quarterbacks, we know that they're setting the bar over and over with each other, and we knew that Derek Carr wasn't going to be the highest paid quarterback for more than 15 minutes because there were more quarterbacks that was free agents the next year. Max Crosby is not setting the market. I could see if he was Myles Garrett and Myles Garrett was like, I want a new contract, and he set the market. Crosby is not going to set the market. He's not.
This is crazy. I think for the first time maybe I've ever seen in Raider history, we are undervaluing our player.
No,
so I want to applaud us for doing that for once. But no, I think this is undervalued. If Max Crosby is on the open market, he's going to get Myles Garrett money. The trade scenarios for Max Crosby would include multiple first-round picks.
Hell no.
Yes, it would.
No.
I don't understand how you guys can say anything differently.
No.
Like him and Max and you know the top guys are right there statistically. There's barely
name the last player. Name the last DN that got traded for multiple first round picks.
Khalil Mack.
Right.
So
right. Khalil Mack. So Khalil, and how long ago was that? Like Khalil Mack. Well, he's played with two teams since then.
Most teams don't trade their guys who are that good at defensive end. So.
And look who they did it with it. The Raiders, right, and the Bears. So no one's really doing that. That's not a thing.
So Hot. I've always been on your side about how I think his trade value is worth the same type of ordeal we got with a Khalil Mack trade for sure. It's just my difference of opinion here is that when it comes to paying him that top dollar that he's asking for. It's just for all the little bull crap he's been doing, and I don't see him as the same tier as the Garrett and the Bosa's, like all that. I that's where I don't see it there.
So you guys are mad at him for you feel like he's been he's a problem child or something?
No.
Okay,
it has nothing to do with his personality to me. It has nothing to do with any of that. Because even with Derek Carr, once the quarterback market settled, Derek Carr isn't on the top up there. He's up there, but he's not up there in the top. Once the market settled,
same thing's going to happen. The defensive end. Defensive ends are going to sign.
Who though? If it ain't
I
Bosa,
don't know.
if it ain't one of the top pass rushers, then he's not he can't reset the market. Like,
So what you're saying is that
resetting the market.
there's very few defensive ends that measure up against him, and therefore it can be compared to him, right?
No, I'm saying there's not enough defensive ends for him to set the market, because if it was a bunch of them, then of course they all gonna get the bag. Just like the quarterback market.
But why isn't there a bunch of them? I don't understand what you mean.
Because it's not as many force multiplier DNs as it is potential quarterback, top tier quarterbacks.
When is the Dallas's guy, Micah Parsons? When is he coming up?
Right, he can reset the market.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I don't know when his contract up. Let me see.
Shout out to
what about Josh Sweat
for the $5 super chat, brother. Thank you for hitting that with the $5 People's Elbow super chat.
We are reading that immediately. Okay, $5 super chat from the Travian Savage.
He took off the elbow sleeve. He's doing the People's Elbow right now.
We never had a coach DC that take Max to the next level. Y'all tripping. Give Max a Salah and he will be better than Watt or Garrett. You know? That's why you're brilliant, my friend. Thank you. Man, I tell you.
Yeah, well, put him on the 49ers. Put him on the 49ers and he'll be the best DN in the league then. Like, what are we talking about? Like, of course, if you put him...
I think he's in that mix, bro. I really do.
Y'all acting like... Okay.
Yeah.
I don't value sacks. Y'all act like sacks are the only thing. Like, those pressures matter.
No, I didn't say all that. You know, I'm saying contract wise. You know, that's where I just have a little difference of opinion on that.
Okay, so if we're talking about a difference between top 5 and top 1 in the contract, it's not very much money, dude. It's not going to be the difference between what we can and can't do in free agency. Why do we care? Why don't we just give them what?
What you mean? Why don't we care?
Yeah, if it's not going to change what we can do, and that's not our money, but we're spending.
Like
it's not going to change what we can do in free agency.
Like I definitely don't.
It's like
why
didn't we bring back Josh Jacobs if we were so unsure about the running back room when it was
okay.
Something that would make no difference to us in free agency, right? Would be the question a lot of people would ask. And so I think it'd be very similar kind of thing here where we're pinching pennies, right?
Right. It's okay. Look. If we had to give Max Crosby the top deal contract, what he's asking for to keep him, then yes, I would do it, right? But I don't feel it's right, if that makes sense. So that's how I feel on that. I definitely don't want him to go, but I don't feel that what he's asking for to be that highest player in his position, like I've stated earlier, with the Garretts and the Boses and the Watts, right? That's where I just have a difference. But I definitely don't want to let him go. And if we had to pony up to pay him, then do it, right? But I wouldn't want to, but I would do it. So there, I just had to just clear that up, because I get the aspect and I get the chat, you know, and all that. I ain't hating on Crosby, but I'm gonna say it here. I just don't think that he's up there with the Garretts and the Watts and the Bosas. But I don't want him to go. But I don't think that he's worth to be the highest player in that position. But if we had to keep him if we had to pay him to keep him, then yes, do it. So that's all I'm trying to say.
If he makes $23.5 a year, Myles Garrett makes 25.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, he's already right there. The top person in the league makes 34 a year, right? The only difference is they guarantee money. So he's mad about the guaranteed money. So if y'all really think that he deserves more guaranteed money, then that's what the conversation should be about. Because salary wise, he's already there.
Yeah, he wants guaranteed.
So what he's supposed to? So what he's supposed to make 34 years to 24? I mean 23.5. Like, what do y'all want him to make a year now? Because if that's the case,
thanks for bringing that up.
He'll be making more than T.J. Watt. He'll be making more than Burns and Hines Allen. You know, come on, these guys are force multiplier game changers. And Max Crosby is on the fringe, and that's where he is. He's being paid accordingly right now. Like, he's being paid accordingly. So now if you want more guaranteed money, fine. But you're not a $34 million a year DN. Okay. You're not.
Yeah. So let's look at last season. You guys are talking about these stats. He's not as good as these guys.
Hey, I couldn't have said it better. That was
it's the guaranteed money, though. Guaranteed money.
Beautifully said. Yes, it's guaranteed. But that was beautifully said, man.
Okay, so last season when he was healthy, right? Let's compare last season when he was healthy. Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, Nick Bosa all played 17 games. Crosby had 90 tackles. Myles Garrett had 42. T.J. Watt had 68. Nick Bosa 53. Max Crosby had 14 and a half sacks. Myles Garrett had 14. Nick Bosa had 10 and a half. T.J. Watt had 19. Right, so it's a big deal. 6 forced fumbles. Right. And you're telling me that guy is not in the same conversation with those players that we just talked about? He's not. He's not.
Stats don't make you the comparable player. It's about how game. I'm not saying Max don't affect the game. What I'm saying is these guys we talking about. All right, well, fine, fuck them, pay them $30 million a year, give them hella guaranteed money. Yeah, and then when he started going from 10 sacks to 7.
Okay, when that becomes a problem, then we'll deal with it, I guess. I don't know, man.
Hey, that's why the show's great, because we all have our different opinions. See, this ain't all, we're not here holding hands, agreeing on everything, right? We all have our difference of opinions here. So that's what makes us great, man. We all have our little bits.
And so, 7.5 sacks this year. He was only healthy for, a portion of the season. So this first year, he's really kind of not been able to play through and have an effect. He had some knick-knack injuries last year, but 14.5 sacks. Sounds like he got through that. I think my boy Black is frozen. Let's see if we can get that fixed for him. But
Jared says Hendrickson has put together 2 huge back-to-back seasons. When is his contract up? Does Max get more or less than Trey Hendrickson?
So let's look at Trey Hendrickson and see what he's done the last 2 seasons. I thought he slowed down some, but let's take a look at it.
It's a great question too. Great question, Jared.
Yeah, because Trey Hendrickson is an underrated player for sure. For the Bengals, one of the better defensive ends last few years. He is 30, so he's 3 years older than Max. Max is 27, and so he's in his prime. He's actually supposed to have his best seasons in the next couple seasons, right? Let's see what happened here. Monster, yes, is a Bengals monster is Trey Hendrickson. So let's take a look at it. Trey has had 17 sacks.
Yeah, back to back. It's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Game changer. Absolutely. Impact player. X factor.
Hey, let me ask y'all something. Do y'all think Max Crosby outplayed his contract?
Outplayed it? I think he played to it.
Like overperformed
outplayed it,
or underperformed?
No, overperformed. Like outplayed it. Like they gave him guaranteed money. They gave him a contract. Now a couple years later, he's saying, "I want more guaranteed money." So to me, that would mean you outplayed your contract.
I think he's outplayed the idea of not playing without guaranteed money. But we already had this conversation the other day.
So I'm gonna go with what you said because you said it perfectly, Black. He's getting paid accordingly, and that is the that is great. He's getting paid accordingly. So I couldn't say it better.
Yeah, but
So
there's
what?
no
So
top
what do?
player
So
playing
what
with
do
no
we? So
guarantee.
what do we do though? Then so what do we do? Because in his mind, yeah, you can restructure the contract even if he made 24 a year. He don't care. He don't care if he made 24 a year. He just won $40 million a guaranteed money now. Like, and so my question is to get that, in order for me to justify that as a crew record label and as a staff, I would have to be like,
That's a great question.
I would be like, damn,
Talk that shit.
you outplayed your contract. Like, damn, we underpaid
Great
you when
point.
we gave you that guaranteed money. We undergave you your money. We need to put a 20 on top of that or something. Then I can see that. But I'm seeing him playing right what his contract is. And if he decided this year he come out, get 10 sacks, whatever, got one more year left in his contract, and he says, hey, I love being a Raider. It's tatted on me. Give me hella guaranteed money. Give me a nice contract, and I'll be a Raider until I retire. That's how that's supposed to play out.
So
he's supposed to play a season without any guaranteed money this year, is what you're saying?
Hell yeah, he just got hella guaranteed money.
Plus,
can
you name me a player that is really good that plays with no guaranteed money?
I don't give a damn. How many players? Name a player that as soon as they ran out of guaranteed money, they want to sit there and say, "Well, all right, well, I ain't gonna play next year until y'all give me more guaranteed money." You gonna say it's hell of them, but But so show me a player, not Ayuk. I'm not talking about Ayuk. I'm talking about
Debo.
Debo Samuels.
No. With Carolina.
No. What I'm saying is how much money? First of all, Debo Samuels got a contract. That was his first big contract. He was trying to vie for a big contract, and so he was going to sit out to get it. Now Ayuk is probably more germane because he was like. And he didn't even have a lot of guaranteed money his first contract. Max Crosby already got hella money already in the guaranteed contract. He got hella money already.
Yeah,
so yeah, this is a prove it year. What, you too good to play for your regular $24 million?
Yes. There's no prove it year for him. There's no prove it.
I say we
That's
should.
not how it works. He already proved it.
We should give him more incentives in his contract for sure, right? But my big thing is he's gonna want to be traded if we don't do good, and we're gonna give him this big guaranteed contract, and then he's gonna dip.
We're gonna give him guaranteed money, and he's gonna give us back money this year towards the cap. That's an adjustment. This is what happens when you have great players. Maybe we haven't had good players in so long we forgot how to do this, this is what we do. We make an adjustment to the guy's contract and take money back for the cap for that year. But he gets guaranteed money in the future. This is what Brady did when you guys talk about him giving back money. Okay, is Brady took guaranteed money and then gave back salary, so the cap.
But Brady was taking half-eaten sandwiches for
that's a lot of
years. For a plethora of years.
If you go back and look at those contracts, it wasn't like
he was doing it
a lot of like
long time, brother.
Romanticizing Brady as some kind of hero. Come on, guys. Like, all right, he wasn't poor. All right, like,
salute to the people in the chat and watching,
bro.
Thank you.
So Myles Garrett got 5-year, $125, average salary $25 million. Got $21 million at the signing bonus. So they wrote him a check for that. He took that home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he already got money on that. He already got that money, right?
Yeah.
I'm asking. Yeah, so then guaranteed money at the signing is $43,546,000 and some change, whatever, right? So at the signing, he got $43 million plus the $21 million, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, no,
right? This is that.
No. The $21 million is what you get. The 43 is just during the whole length of the contract. There's different phases of when things become guaranteed, right? So like. He may have to be on the roster at a certain point to guarantee a portion of that. What he got up front was the signing bonus.
No. No, well,
The
it says
43.5 is all that's guaranteed for the.
It says guaranteed as signed 43 million. Total guaranteed is 100 million.
Get it immediately.
So he gets 65 million of it at signing.
No, he does not get that.
He has 35 million.
Just because it's guaranteed, the 43.5 guaranteed at the signing just means that as he goes through this contract, that money is already guaranteed. He doesn't need to do anything but be on the roster at the right time to get it, right? The signing bonus is what he gets up front. Okay. And then the 100 million guaranteed overall is like there's 60 million or so that he can become guaranteed, based on, whatever achievement that they put in the contract itself, right? So 43.5 is guaranteed, meaning no matter what happens, they got to pay him that much. It could be accelerated like it was for Russell Wilson. When they cut him, they had to pay all that money up front. Otherwise, they would just been salary, right? So that's how that works.
It says 43 million fully guaranteed at signing. It's fully guaranteed. Right. So it don't matter if he played year 1 or year 5 of that contract. 43 million of that is fully guaranteed. So they said that's the signing bonus plus the 2020 salary plus the 2021 salary plus the 2021 option bonus. So he got 43 million. So you're telling me
over those 3 years, you got 43 million.
No, so you're telling me that Myles Garrett gonna be like, well, I'm out of guaranteed money after this season. Y'all gonna have to restructure all this? That's what you're telling me?
Yes. You look for that to happen.
I bet you won't.
Okay. When Myles Garrett,
you might be right, but I bet you
restructure. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's just the way the NFL works. There's a lot of money being spent.
No, it's a lot of money being spent, but you ain't gonna have a contract and then be talking about, well, I'm out of guaranteed money, so I'm gonna need a new contract. Yeah, you can say that. And then you can threaten your team that you're not going to play, and teams are stupid enough to believe you, and then they give you the money. Yeah, that's power playing. But if the Raiders decide, if Tom Brady say, well, fuck it, if he acting like that, then let him test the market, and then he can go, or we'll trade him because we still got him under contract. And then we're gonna say who's gonna blink first, and then we'll find out what the rubber meets the road.
So many issues on the roster. He is not one of them. I think it would be a mistake to turn him into an issue when he's not.
What do you mean?
He's a good player. All you need to do is sign him and move forward.
Max Crosby been an issue.
You don't want to. Yeah, I don't think
he's been an issue all year.
What issue?
What you mean? He literally divided. He literally divided the fan base because we was never talking about getting rid of him until this year. Never. It never came up. It came up this year because of how he was acting and how he played this year. So it's starting right now.
So what is it? What is it that he did this year that I don't? Maybe I missed it.
Well, why are people saying that he thinks he's above the shield? Why are people saying he pushed the coach? Why are people saying he got buyer's remorse? Why are people saying that if AP go, he gonna go? Like all these things, we never had these things to talk about any other year. Even when McDaniels was acting up, it never was, well, we should get rid of Max so we can get collateral or capital or we can get picks or it never came up. That never came up.
Yeah, it's factory.
I think there's an overreaction to the fact that AP was not good, and this has been a horrible year. And people are placing blame on Max Crosby
because of Max Crosby running his mouth.
Kid. He's just a kid, bro. That's not the person to blame.
He's just a kid. No. The question
That's what
was.
You said.
No, I know, but the question was, how did we get here? We got here because of Max Crosby running his mouth, talking like he gonna lead the team, and now he gonna say, well, if I don't have no more guaranteed money, I don't want to play here. Like that's division.
He didn't say that.
All right.
He didn't say that. He just said I don't have guaranteed money. That's just a regular negotiation contract.
Come on, man. That's just like saying that's like telling your girl, if you don't cook me dinner, that means I'm gonna go somewhere else to eat. If you don't give me no cheeks, You know that mean I'm about to go somewhere else. That don't mean go in there and cook. That don't mean jump on it.
Okay, so
yeah, come on.
We'll have players. We have players that will just be subservient and never ask for a contract extension. They won't complain if they don't have guaranteed money.
It's not a manner of extremes,
That's what we
bro.
want. It's not real though. That's not how it happens.
It's not a manner of extremes. Of course, he
So
got to
what do you
come
want
out.
him to do?
Of course, he got to come out.
This is a great take right here, man.
This is what I want him to do. What I want him to do is do what he's always been doing: shut the fuck up and play football. And I mean, shutting up and play football, and let your agent handle that behind the scenes, because the optics of it is looking terrible. You don't need that because really,
I think we're being a little too sensitive to this.
Yeah, well, call it what you want, because like I said, I never really cared about trading Max. But what I'm saying is that Max sitting up here keep blowing dust all up in everybody's face, then if we're going to play ball, let's play ball, because you're not worth all that. You're not.
All I said is I don't have guaranteed money. Dang.
Well, you shouldn't have said that.
To me, Raider Nation feels real sensitive about this Max thing.
No, he shouldn't.
Like, he can't say
it's not about being sensitive, bro. He shouldn't have said that publicly. No different than the shit that AP was saying. A lot of that stuff he didn't have to say.
So I'm gonna just chime in here. So on all the outlets that I've seen, comments, threads, all this stuff too, Black is right to where it is half of the fans, and just in general saying like not even fans of our team. There's other fans of different teams saying, like Max is doing this. He's asked for all this. He's kind of
they're hoping we'll trade him.
So
they're trying to egg us on to go ahead and trade him so they can.
So it's half and half. It definitely is half and half, and it is more bigger than what it appears to be in your eyes, Hot.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That we would be half and half no matter what the hell the subject was.
No,
Raider fans, is the sun coming up tomorrow?
No,
us would be like, that
might be that part might be true. No, that part might be true. But what I'm saying is Max Crosby in particular, it wouldn't be an issue if he wasn't acting the way he was acting. I agree with you that it's really a no-brainer. We got to give Max the money. But if you come out acting like you're bigger than the Shield, like everybody's saying, it's a principle thing. It's not about dollars. It's a principle thing because now if you let Max Crosby act like that, you didn't let no other players act like that, and then now new players come in and start acting like that. Then now we let the inmates run the asylum. That's what we're
okay. So you don't want to set a precedent where
it's just when
players are allowed to ask for guaranteed money.
No, you keep yeah. There you go. Yes.
Oh, okay. So no talking out loud for players.
No, don't go to the extreme, bro. I'm saying Max.
I just said they're not allowed to say things that are bad about the organization.
I'm saying Max Crosby. We're talking about Max Crosby. No. Other players shouldn't do it either, depending on their status with the team. But what I'm saying, especially a player like Max Crosby shouldn't be doing it, especially when everybody on fire. Like, I'll give you an example. I love analogies. LA is on fire. Now would be the wrong time to be talking about, y'all know the electricity is about to go out too, because y'all ain't been paying your electricity bill. Like, nigga, we're not talking about that. Like, let's focus on just what's going on right now. Like, I understand. We don't want to lose him. We don't want to lose them, but at the same time, don't come out here talking about, well, y'all think it's a fire now. Imagine if I left. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Yep. Like, so, what will leave then?
I got to bring up this comment here. So just real fast, Airsoft Dude says players should not have their podcast show. So there's certain aspects to that, right? Players could have their podcast show, but I say don't have it during the regular season. That's my whole thing. Max could have his podcast, and I'm going to just focus on Max here because I know there's a bunch of other players in basketball, baseball, they all got a podcast now, right? But for my team, if I'm a fan of your team, the A's, the Raiders, the Lakers, the Sharks, all that, right? Have your podcast on the off season and focus on the damn task in hand. That is just me. You could have all the guests you want during the off season, and all that, but that's just how I feel about that. And yeah,
it is almost a conflict of interest because let's say, for example, what if he came out like Tyreek Hill did, talking about I'm out. What if Max said that I'm out, like because he pissed. Like I'm talking about, as soon as AP get fired, he come out and say I'm out. That damage control that they did in Miami that week, damage control that they did, that wouldn't ride here in Vegas. Like if the coach come up there and talk about, well, we talked and we don't put much talk into Max being upset and losing. Now the Raider fan gonna be like, oh hell no, because I seen it this year because I really thought that we was gonna overlook how Max was acting because we should understand that if anybody should be pissed, it should be Max. Like he should have the leverage to say what he want to say, but being that if you do that, look what ends up happening. So had that happen. So the podcasting in the middle of obviously. So podcasting in the middle of the season is almost a conflict of interest because if you're getting off where you mad at on your podcast, it ain't. What if the higher ups and the top people went on a podcast and said some shit about Max, like, well, Max is underperforming this year. I can't justify giving him I can't justify giving him more guaranteed money. Then they're gonna be all in their feelings. And then he ain't gonna play.
This is the thing. I will say this. Max did not use the podcast to criticize the team in any way. Okay.
Well, he did say that he's tired of he did say that he's tired of the inconsistency. He did say that.
He said it is hard.
Tired of the inconsistency. So which relates to the.
Come on. So he can't say anything.
Right. Come
real
on
now.
No, he shouldn't.
But nobody was complaining about that reel. Nobody was complaining about that reel when he was interviewing people, and we were all watching the damn podcast and happy that we got all the information. But okay.
I had a problem.
I have a strong assumption that Max won't be doing it again next year after those.
No, I think he will.
People want one side, but the other side is we want all the truth when it's cool. But if we hear
you know what we want,
he's not supposed to say it.
No, you know what we want. We want the inside stuff, but we don't want you to tell it. No, we want the inside stuff. We just don't want the internal stuff. Don't give us the internal stuff. Like you can tell us, oh, Nate Hobbs like to eat Reese cups before the game, and he was mad. He was balling this week because he went and watched this movie or whatever little corny stuff. Like we want to know like the little regular stuff like that. Oh, why was you balling this week, Max? Yeah, because this week me and my wife, whatever. I don't want to hear, man. I'm not the GM, but if I was the GM,
I'm tired of the coaches getting fired.
Like all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
don't be doing all that, guys. I'm tired of playing with different personnel.
Yeah, don't be doing that.
Come on.
Don't be doing that.
Okay. So listen, when we had almost no leadership in this piece, and we were rudderless, and he was saying shit like that, and got the locker room together. And had everybody like going towards actually being a competitive team, nobody was complaining. But now we're so
when did that happen?
We got everything together. The last couple years, when we had Josh McDaniels and shit. And
bro, it's easy to. It was easy to.
He was over here talking about what the Raider way was, talking about how this ain't it, how we need to be better and more committed. And then what happened? We did that. Now. You're so special.
Look,
bro, it's easy. It's easy to get the troops together when you drowning. Like they was drowning. Like with McDaniels,
we still did it.
It's like the military. Like if everybody hated the commander, right, and he was just an asshole to everybody. Eventually, what they're gonna do is band together and knock him off, even if we don't like each other. And we can not like each other, but we got a common enemy now. So we're gonna band together to get rid of him. And then once he's gone, we're gonna go back to not liking each other again. That's what's gonna happen.
Great points, man. Yo, your facts and poetic imagery, brother, is on fire today, brother.
I know, right? It's the gushers.
It's the gushers. It's the gushers.
Jared Goff.
But to keep it real though, I feel what you're saying though, Hotspot, for sure. Like I do get what you're saying. In any normal circumstance, I kind of really feel you. But in this situation, any little thing to the left or the right can kind of make us spin out of control. So the last thing we need to do is the most, like you said, the most consistent player, our glue. That's the last person we need to be having a back and forth with. That's the last person.
Yeah,
so we need to pay him. And the best
we're
way
just a little too sensitive for that right now. And that's okay.
I don't know if we're sensitive. No, it's not sensitive.
You said if you get a little bit over here, a little bit over there, we're gonna spin out of control.
Well,
I would say that.
That is kind of sensitive. Like that is sensitive. Our franchise is sensitive. That's what our franchise is sensitive right now. Yeah, but when you say sensitive, I'm thinking like they're gonna start crying. No, sensitive means if you touch it, it's gonna hurt.
Everything can go all out.
Our Raider fan base in general, we got sunburn right now, and we're
we definitely got sunburn.
Boy.
We got sunburn. We got sunburn. Right terrible sunburn right now.
I always wear black, so I'm good.
Right.
Jared says,
I'm melanated.
I'm melanated. Adjust his contract, give him some guaranteed cash, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, so how much? How much? I like that. How much?
Give him that guarantee to be,
how much
in the same range. He ain't gonna ask. He doesn't necessarily need to be number one, but 24 this year should be guaranteed, so that he feels comfortable.
24 for this year.
We got last year. Yeah.
So then, what we give him next year? Then after that, because he's gonna be out of guaranteed money.
No, because you ain't doing 1 year. You redo the contract and move 50 million. That's for the next 2 years, and then you do it 2 years from now if you need to.
So there is a comment posted right higher than that goes to this comment, which I feel perfectly about what that comment says by
which one?
Nutty Raider Rate. He says he essentially wants a bonus after a terrible season coming off of surgery. Who does that?
That's what I'm saying from the owner's standpoint. That's what they're looking at. That's what they're looking at.
Nutty Raider Rate,
guys. Who does that? Everybody who has star players. I mean, like, guys, look around the league. It's going to happen 4 or 5 times this offseason. I'm sorry, but this is what happened
last year. Who happened this season? Who did it happen?
We can go back and look at it. I don't know, man.
I want to look at.
Let's look at it. Like this new science.
No. It's not. You're right. It's not new science.
Past half hour is turned to a Max Crosby.
I don't want you to think that I'm just arguing with you because you're right. Once the guarantee money runs out, it is time to restructure my contract, right? But the thing is, you can't go asking to restructure your contract after you had a subpar year and you didn't finish the year because of injury. That's my argument.
They do it all the time.
Ooh.
They do. All the players, they don't give a as long as that injury is not something where they feel like it's going to be career threatening.
I agree with that.
Make them miss games. They pay
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Are always hurt.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. So my question is, who? So we can look at their contract, and I bet you they're not asking for 20 more million, and even 20 more million wouldn't even put him with guaranteed money. Even 20 million wouldn't even put Max in the. Hold on.
It's like it'd be 50 and 50, so you can get through the next couple of years, and then
there we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, it'd be like 50. So then, people hearing that we about to give Max 50 more million of guaranteed money.
Not in one salary.
Not in one whop, but still 25, 25.
Okay, but guess what? His cap hit for this year, that this next coming year, will go down. We have more cap space. Is that okay with people? Because that's what would happen. Is that okay? Because you're gonna take the non-guaranteed salary that's there now, turn it into a bonus, and then spread it out over dead years that don't exist, right? And then he ends up costing us less against the cap. So I know it's scary sounding, but that's how it works. He needs to get his money, and this is how teams, open up space. Colton Miller's probably going to get something very similar. They're going to take his money and give him guaranteed money if we want him to stay, because his salary is probably pretty
what if he
hard.
gets that, right? But then he gets traded in 3 months, 4 months.
You don't do it for a player that you're about to trade in 3 months. That would be stupid.
But
that's bad GM.
We're not okay. So sorry. Let's just say that we do that, right? And then we're not performing up to Max Crosby's standards, right? And we're losing, and he wants to be traded.
Okay, so you would probably have an idea that that's the situation when you're going into a contract negotiation with him, right? Right. We're going to sign. You're going to be asking those questions. If he's not committed to the team,
clause in his contract,
no. This is if he's not committed to the team, and it's pretty obvious that he's not, right? You're having these conversations, and it looks like, hey, he's got one foot out the door. Then no, that's not the guy you give a contract extension to and do all that kind of stuff. It's the people who want to be here. Right?
Thank you.
I think he wants to be here.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So at the end of the day, right, we all agree, all three of us, we feel that we don't want to see him go, right? But it's just the circumstance of of how things is panning out and how it happened. Unfortunately, with him this season is why Raider fans are split, and that's just what the realization of it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, we all got our takes on it, and yeah, I respect your take, Black's take, and yeah, but let's cut all this crap about Max Crosby now, and let's go forward about something else, because I'm tired of this Max Crosby talk, man. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is my feeling here on that is really simple. Like, he is not the place that we need to be focusing on if we want to win. The places we need to focus on are quarterback, running back, wide receiver, corner, offensive guard.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
So, can we do that and keep the good defensive end we have and make it simple on ourselves? That's all I have to say about it, right?
Yeah.
Especially when he's giving money back, guaranteed salary back to help us out, right? Some of his salary into guaranteed dollars, which will help us out, right?
He's supposed to be our Jordan of our team, right? Yes. And Mike Jordan, he
Kobe is the Kobe of the team,
or Kobe, fan. Right? But
who's this Jordan you speak of? God. Anyway, go ahead.
Shut the front door. But Jordan, champion, and of course we all know Crosby loves Kobe. I love Kobe, right? But I'm just saying he's supposed to be the guy on a pedestal for our team and to be our focal point to
the dude who shows up early,
show up and lead by example, right? I just expect more out of him, and I can go on and on and on, but I'm gonna cut the crap here and let's just go on. So who is gonna be our head coach when this is all said and done?
Boy, that's a good question. So I feel like after what you said earlier, I'm really rooting for a BJ and a hooker in Vegas.
BJs and hookers, baby. Everybody loves BJ and a hooker. Hey, Ben Johnson and Hendon Hooker, Hey, BJ and Hooker.
I
Come on.
liked Hendon Hooker coming out of the draft. I felt like he has the potential to be a really good quarterback moving forward. I think that has shown itself to be true according to the way people are acting about him over there in Detroit. I guess they brought Teddy Bridgewater over there as well, so that's interesting. He came back and unretired, so big ups to him because the injury and all that stuff was pretty much a downer. Um, and he seems, from all accounts, to be a really really good guy. And so hopefully he has a chance to kind of to play through and you know show why he was a first round pick more than he's gotten a chance to, right? So rooting for that guy. What do I think is going to happen? Man, this is rough. So. So there's two sides to me here, right? I think it's either it's going to be Ben Johnson or it's going to be Dion. And I think that's what my gut says.
Great. Okay. All right. Dion. I didn't expect that from you, but okay. All right.
The reason why I'm saying that is because I think that whatever this is de facto done. That there's been some sort of handshake deal or assurances, just by the way we're operating about this. And I think that the most likely scenarios for that would be, Brady having a conversation with Ben Johnson a few weeks ago before, yeah. And then the Brady Dion connection, right, is pretty strong. Right?
Okay.
And Shador. And then I've got some sorcerations that push me towards those thoughts too. Okay. Now, do I think Carroll is not a possibility? I think Carroll is a possibility. I think that there's a contemplation of these coaches because neither Ben Johnson or Deion Sanders are overly experienced as an NFL head coach, right? Like one has none, the other has none also, right? But we have a coordinator and we have a college head coach. These are places to hire from, but they're not as safe, right, as
SP
Carroll, Belichick, maybe even Vrabel if we thought we had a chance, right? Which is why you can't count out Mr. Grew. No one wants to hear it, but you can't count him out either.
Okay. Yeah. Good point. Good point.
So I think my gut says it's either going to be that we have a BJ and a Hooker, or
gotta love that everybody's favorite combination.
A Sanders, and a Sanders.
It's not exciting as a BJ and a Hooker. All right, hey man, great take. All right, so what my instinct and my gut tells me is that it's going to be one of two coaches, right? So the first one, I think that one of the two choices that it's going to be Ben Johnson, right? So I like that he gave us the time of day to even give us an interview, right? And that was just because of the Tom Brady effect that's in play there. And if people who don't know, he turned down the Saints and the Jets. So that when I saw that, I'm like, all right, like that's awesome, right? And with the whole thing with the Ben Johnson and Hendon Hooker, right? They're saying that we could trade a possible third round pick for Hendon Hooker, right? And who knows more about Hooker than Ben Johnson, who's been working with him and he's been seeing him. So if they were to come kind of like a little package deal, they could just hit the ground full force going, right? And then if Ben Johnson is not the coach, I really believe that our head coach is going to be Pete Carroll. And the reason why I say that is because the experience, and I mean, we all know Pete Carroll won in college, Super Bowl champion. And I don't want to hear this bull crap about his age either. Because if you think about the coaches in the AFC West, they ain't no young spring chickens either. I mean, Reed is 66 years old, if I'm not wrong, right? So all those coaches are pretty up in age there, you know, and we definitely need a coaching change. And I'm tired of people saying, well, you know, Pierce this, Pierce that, right? So if you think about before Reed came to the Chiefs, the last season before Reed came to the Chiefs, they had 2 wins only, right? And then Chiefs, I mean, the Reed joins the Chiefs, which I hated because I wanted to get him so bad as a coach, right? But he joined the Chiefs, and he took them to a 9-game win season in their first year, completely turned them around. And Dion, so let's talk about Dion here. So my reasoning why I wouldn't like the Dion hire is because I don't feel like he would be good overall to go up with the teams we have in the AFC West. And can he really coach at the pro level? He's good at coaching kids in college, but can he coach grown men? That is the question here. And the only way that I could see us really getting Deion Sanders is if we're a shoo-in to get his son Shador Sanders, if that's something that Brady and Mark Davis talked behind closed doors, and we don't know if that's something that they're talking about, right? But I just don't. I'm not really as high on the Dion choice as other people are, and yeah. So Pete Carroll is old, right? But he's young at heart. And have you seen him? This guy is he's full of energy still. He's out there during practices throwing balls with the quarterback. Like, he is engaged with the team out there. And so please, I don't want to hear none of that nonsense about his age anymore. Cut the crap. Cut it out.
He like runs the laps with the team.
Yeah, like he's
been one of the most in shape dudes I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like I used to live up in Seattle. It's crazy. Like, that dude runs 5K.
So also, if I'm also correct here, he is younger than the previous 2 past presidents that were in term here. So let that sink in too, you know. So hey, I'm going to say that too. So I don't want to hear anything about age because he looks darn good at his age there. So let that.
Great point, Jared. Reed's 66 is probably equal to Pete's 73 or worse.
Because look, Reed said his favorite food is cheeseburgers. And him and his team indulges in fast food Fridays because he loves fast food. You know, so there's.
I think I think that if Pete Carroll challenged any of those dudes to a push-up off, Pete Carroll wins.
He'd win.
More push-ups.
He'd win
push-ups than any of those guys. So he's not old. He's a very young kind of person. Like, this is the way that he goes about stuff. He's not an old guy, right?
Yeah.
He's very like energetic, very passionate, very like cutting edge, right? He's like, you know, using new techniques, and he's very good at hiring the staff, right?
Exactly.
The staff usually is excellent, right? So I get that. I think if Carroll is the guy, then I would say we'd probably go all in on trying to make that trade for JJ McCarthy, because he's like the perfect Pete Carroll kind of quarterback, right, for that system.
Absolutely.
You know, and then also complementary game.
Right. Thanks. And then there's also too, well, they're like, well, he's old, right? So he'll coach only for maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, right? I think if Pete Carroll were to have this job, he would already have his successor in place right after he would go from our franchise here. That's something that I would not even like worry about at all. And I'm gonna be honest here. I love Ben Johnson, right? But Pete Carroll is the more safer pick. and that's
Mm.
that's just what I have to say. But I understand how Ben Johnson could be the new Sean McVay 2.0, the new John Gruden, like
Yeah. Give
Matt.
me some Ed Dodds and Pete Carroll and
Exactly. So I was
keep it
just gonna
simple.
say that if we hire Carroll, I guarantee you, like I'm 90% sure that Ed Dodds would be our GM because of that whole. Because what does the Raiders want? Chemistry, people that gel and mesh together, and
Okay,
those two.
question to the Raider Nation. Let's say they announced that it's Belichick and he is bringing Ziegler as the GM. How do we feel about that, Nation? We take Belichick Ziegler?
I have a great answer for that, but I'll wait.
I'm gonna see what the chat has to say. If they react to that, they may not react to that just because it's so evil.
So while the chat, so I'm gonna just go on and say here, you know what? I would prefer a different GM, but if we were to have that combo, I honestly would not mind at all. And a lot of people go, "Well, I'm tired of the Patriot way, the Patriot West, right? That's what they call it here, right? Why wouldn't you want to be a part of a winning culture who's won multiple Super Bowls? And look, if you want the fruit of the labor of the tree, right? Why not get the actual goddamn tree and Bill Belichick, not the offsprings of freaking Josh McDaniels, Matt Patricia? Like the only one who I think who was successful out of the Pete Carroll. I'm sorry, out of the Bill Belichick coaching staff tree was Bill O'Brien when he was on the Texans. I can't, because they tried with Romeo Crennel, Charlie Weiss, all those guys failed. They all failed. So who knows better than Bill Belichick himself? And if you're going to bring that in with Tom Brady kind of playing, both their hand in that, hey. And I'm going to say this to you right now, and because this is straight up, and I don't give a shit, and I'm sorry for cussing, I don't care what anybody says. Josh McDaniels was a better coach than Antonio Pierce. I don't give a damn what anybody says, and I'm going to say that. So there, okay? Y'all could clench a fist right now. Y'all could go, "Oh, that damn Western," all that shit. But hey, facts is facts, man. Josh McDaniels was better than and Antonio Pierce. He actually knew what he was doing. Yeah, he rubbed the team off the wrong way because he ran the team like a okay. He was more firm on our team. Antonio Pierce was like a substitute teacher in like high school, where the substitute teacher comes in and the kids are all throwing airplanes and spitting spitballs and shit. That's exactly what Antonio Pierce was. Okay, so
Jesus Lord.
I just gotta put that to rest right now. Okay, and yeah, look, I hate Josh McDaniels too, but he was way better, 9-day difference than Antonio Pierce. Okay.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I would say that Josh was worse because of his influence on roster decision stuff that I think set us back really far. What that man did to Hunter Renfrow, I will never forgive. What happened with Derek Carr was ridiculous, right?
So I'm just saying, from a coaching's point, we're calling timeouts. You know what I mean? Stuff like, you know what I mean? That aspect, right?
That part.
That part. We're actually coaching. You know,
God, man.
You know?
And I can't even argue with you. That's how bad it was. Damn.
You know, like
Just coaching for coaching. Yes, Josh.
You know, like he knew when to call timeouts. He knew when to kick a field goal. He knew when to punt the ball. He knew when to go for it on fourth down. You know, like, all right. So cut all this bull crap about how Antonio Pierce was better than freaking Josh McDaniels. All right. I don't hear that nonsense anymore. All right. I'm gonna have to take
I
off
don't
my
ever want to hear
elbow
that
pad and
argument
set up the
again.
people's
This is
elbow
like
on you.
stabbing myself in the neck. Who was worse or better between these two horrible coaches? They're both.
So
You know what? At least AP is welcome around here. He's a Raider. I still like him.
because he's the substitute teacher who came in to class and he was subbing for that firm ass teacher who was hard on all those kids. And that's why.
It's like trying to tank the team. No.
So all right. So if Bill Belichick was presented the opportunity to be our coach, would
Dave?
you
With
be
Dave
okay
Ziegler
with it?
or just
No.
is this just period?
Yeah. Just period.
Okay with it. He's my first choice. Y'all are tripping.
Okay, thank you. Because there's some okay, thanks. Because there's some people out there, you know, and that's why I say you got to think with your with not with your heart, but with the chart, man. Because man, you know, like who wouldn't want?
Do you really want to say that you're going to say no to the greatest coach in NFL history? We don't want him. No, we don't want him to coach.
So this is why I think Bill Belichick will be a coach back in the NFL. He is 15 games away from beating Don Shula's record for the most wins in the NFL.
Exactly.
And I think that he chose the college job just to show all the other owners and the NFL teams like, hey, y'all ain't gonna just fucking do me dirty to where I'm gonna just be in this dark to where you throw a tarp on me and I'm covered and that's it, right? He's showing all them like, hey, I'll go here and I'll coach here. But I feel like if somebody gives him what he's asked for, he'll do it. And the reason why he wasn't the Falcons coach last year is because of Bob Kraft did him dirty. He did him dirty.
Dirty.
Dirty Dan.
Dirty Diana.
Dirty Diana. Great Michael Jackson. Dirty Diana.
So we got this comment. Jared says, unless you can convince me that JMC was the reason for Dave's 2 drafts, which is he's like, I don't want him. I don't want Ziegler. Okay, well, let's look at the 2 drafts. I think first draft was Parham, right? And the 3rd round was the first pick we had. I mean, whatever, right? So it was Devontae Adams, and then Parham was the draft, basically, right? You can say what you want, but there was a lot of happy Raider fans when we had Devontae Adams. So revisionist history, right? If you want to go back and say that was a mistake, okay.
But a bunch of fans don't like that tandem in the combo, or especially Dave Ziegler, is because of the whole thing with CJ Stroud, right? You know, that's the big thing on why, you know, like why didn't they get CJ Stroud?
Because the offensive coordinator minded head coach was like, I don't want that one. I want the short, tiny one. If we can't get the short, tiny one, then forget it. If you're a GM, you're not going to pick a quarterback for your head coach who's an offensive coordinator guy that he doesn't like.
Yeah.
That would make no sense.
But that's why, you know, like you know, I hear it to this day. You know, they're like, oh, we could have had CJ Stroud, you know, and trust me, I get it. You know, I would love, you know, to like have him too. But hey, you know what?
Yeah. But Tyree is turning the corner, right? He looks like he's going to be a pretty dominant player, to be honest.
So
right?
he's
turning that
Trey corner,
Tucker,
right?
Jacorian Bennett, Aiden O'Connell.
So he's turned that corner, but I want him to not look back and go back around the corner. Can you please just keep going straight?
Yeah, please don't look behind you. There's a monster.
Yeah.
Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. Please.
I can see that for sure. It says JMC had everyone hating his guts. JMC is a horrible person. with a horrible personality, coach maybe, but you have to have the players wanting to play for you. 100. He says Billy B and Ed Dodds. Billy B.
Billy Bean?
Bill
Billy Bean?
Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick
Oh,
and Ed
okay.
Dodds.
Okay, Billy Belichick. Okay. You know that.
Yeah, that could be.
Hey, you know what? And I guarantee you that when Tom Brady called Bill Belichick, I guarantee you that Tom Brady asked him about coaching our team. And then there's reports, he was just picking his brain. That's BS, man. You know damn well Tom asked him everything. He's like, hey, what do you think about coaching the Raiders? You know, what do you think about our staff? What do you think about our team? You know?
Yeah. It may have been, and completely informal based on, who they are, right? But yeah, he's going to ask him that. Like, come on, man. Like, yeah. They go back far enough where obviously they're going to go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
I think more and more, my belief here is that Coupon Tom lost his job because he didn't measure up when we brought our expert in. Right.
Yeah.
I think there was a conversation about what the plans might be and past decisions, and that led to him leaving the building. Don't want to trade up. Don't want to spend money on re-signing players.
That was his downfall.
I would assume if you wanted to get rid of Max Crosby, then you should have kept our Coupon Tom. I'm sure he would have found a way to not pay him, right? Dave Z took
that's a
Tyree
great
over
comment.
Jalen Carter.
That is a
great comment. That is a great comment. You know what though? I don't really blame him. Have you seen the rap on Jalen Carter?
Like pre-draft stuff.
He's behaving now
a
little bit, but then he also threatened a man's life in his rookie season and stalked him for months on social media.
Hey,
and no, that's real.
I know.
He's a time bomb, freaking powder keg thing.
Hey,
we don't have the room to be just blowing picks on high picks on a guy who flames out in year 2 because he assaulted somebody at a bar. Okay,
we got a lot of players who do some crazy shit, man.
We got players who drive drunk, not psychos.
We've had some psychos. We have
the good ones, the good psychos. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. I get it. But hey, I'll be honest. If we could go back in time, I would take Carter right now. 3 or 4 though every day out of the week, man. He's great player. I mean, his head's a little out there, but
listen, you're not always gonna get it right when you stand on business. But I'm not for drafting guys like that. Period. Sometimes they work out, but more often than not, they flame out before their worth is. He still hasn't earned that pick yet, just because he's 2 years in, right? We'll see.
He's playing.
Maybe he gets through the whole thing and but if he gets arrested this offseason, it was a dumbass pick, right? He gets arrested next offseason, it's a dumbass pick.
He's playing great, brother.
Constant worry, right? Sometimes it'll work out. But do not pick guys with rap sheets. Did Damon Arnett work out? He could have worked out. He did not.
Look, I'm going to just read Jared Gonzalez's pick. He says, I hear you, but Carter is an all-pro. Talk that shit.
Yeah, that worked. What you're talking about is results, right? What I'm talking about is process.
Hey,
you can't always control results.
His process turned him to an all-pro.
Not his process, the team's process of making decisions. They can afford to take that risk too. Do you know why? Because they're stacked. Because even if he flames out, it doesn't really matter. But if we pick a pick that high and he flames, what does that mean to the team? It would have crippled this team to have a guy get picked and then fight somebody in a bar after we just had somebody wreck and kill somebody and then pull a gun on social media. We are not in the space where we could do that. especially back
He
at that
would
time,
have
right?
more of an impact than Wilson right now. And I'm going to bring up the next comment by
On the
Jared,
field,
by
yes,
Jared
because
Gonzalez.
everything worked out, but we don't know that for sure yet, right? At the time,
Jared Gonzalez says Carter and Max, bro. That shit would be nasty. Absolutely, it'd be
yeah, that's called
nasty work.
revisionist in revisionist history, where we know everything works out great and he doesn't get in trouble in between. Then, sure, but we did not know that at the time. See, you have more information now, well, the future and stuff. At the time, what we knew is that he was risky, right?
Get him, Jared. Get him.
The results, you have results now. You have to make a decision back then.
Tell
So
him.
this is what I
Tell him,
want you to
Jared.
do. This is what I want you, Jared. Jared, do you believe that we should just pick risky players regardless of what their background is based only on their talent? Or do you think they're sometimes or most of the time we should stay away from those kind of people? Right?
So would you rather
Thank
have a
you,
guy?
Jared.
So Jared. So I'm gonna just wrap this up here on this point right here. So would you rather have Carter kind of stalking a guy or Damon Arnett posing with guns on his Instagram, threatening, talking all that shit? You know what I mean? Like that was a complete failure, brother. You know, and at
different
least
GM.
At least Carter isn't getting into car crashes like okay, I'm sorry, he did, okay, but at least he's not posing with.
I'm like, he literally did get it.
But I know,
exactly.
Yeah, he did. You're right,
and that was one of the reasons we're like, we're not drafting this guy. He's driving drunk and wrecking.
But at least he wasn't posing with fucking. Pardon my language, chat. I'm sorry. I apologize for cursing. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, but he wasn't
with
posting
a 6 hour
and threatening people, you know, like, man, I'll effing kill you right now. You know, all this. I'm like, dude, like I saw that, but they weren't there. I'm like, whoa, dude, that's wild.
Thank you, Pizzle.
Thank you, Pizzle. Thank you, Pizzle. All right, so before we wrap things up here, so the last time I was on the show, I said that if we don't that if Sanders and Cam Ward were drafted, right, I would want to go with the receiver McMillan from Arizona, and then after that, I will in the second round, or possibly if we get him in the third, which I don't think it'll be in the third, would be Jalen Milroe, right? But I'm changing that up now. I'm changing my stuff now. So I still will want to get Genty, right? But if Genty is not there, and keep in mind, this is if Ward and Sanders is gone and we don't trade up. What about this kid Abdul Carter, man? Abdul Carter from Penn State, man. The end. This guy is. Man, I've been watching tape on him, man. This guy reminds me of a Michael Parsons / Julius Peppers. You know what I mean? Okay, no.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on.
That ain't fair to say Julius Peppers because he's, he's okay. He reminds me of a Parsons type of guy. Okay, I'll just say that because Peppers is, that dude. Hopefully. He could be a Javon Curse type, okay? Hopefully he could be like a Curse. But yeah, that he's like 6'5", long, lanky, bursts off the line, bro. And and then I also saw some more things on that corner. Who
Will Johnson.
You also like as well. He will be a great pick. Like I feel like that will be a home run pick too, there. But if we could get Genty, Abdul Carter, or Will, Johnson, then hey, but I could understand if we went with Will Johnson first because corner's kind of a more of a pressing need, there, boom, like
Max,
throw him in. But I just picture that
might be back. Chase on might be back.
So the reason why I'm saying Carter, because if you put in Abdul Carter with our line that we have now healthy, dude, they'd be killing it, dude. Like we could just rush forward, dude, and then just have our guys just drop back, dude, and it would be beautiful. Beautiful. And then
So what about second round?
If Jalen Milroe is there, I feel like you gotta pull the trigger on him, man, because I feel like he's gonna wow people after the combine, and teams are gonna jump. They're like gun on him. I'm really, really high on him, dude. I'm really, really high on him.
As far as so when I looked at Milroe, I felt like I saw a lot of staring down the same receiver and not getting to secondary reads. I saw kind of a lack of touch, like a lack of layering balls and stuff like that.
Has empowered his arm?
Lost. His throwing, like a lack of touch. Like he's got a strong arm, but I'm talking about drop the ball in the bucket stuff.
Okay.
And then they lost to Vanderbilt, man.
So I get what you're saying, right? So two things to like. Okay, so yes, I am biased on him, but just to my defense here, search up the film where Jalen Milroe is throwing balls at the at the field goal post, and he's hitting it on the freaking dot, bro. Bing, bing, bing. There's that one, and then what's the and then Tom Brady said too that he wants a guy to sit and learn. So that's where it fits in perfectly there. Where if we do draft him, he can sit and learn, and then he won't be thrown into the fire like Anthony Richardson, and he'll get a chance to learn the offense, watch the speed and flow of the game, and I really feel like he could potentially be a Lamar Jackson type player. Because there's a lot of people who said the same thing, about Jackson. Like Jackson came out and then.
Okay, so I don't think that Milroe is the runner that Jackson is. He's just not. I'm like Lamar Jackson.
No.
The kind of highlights that make you go, he's such a plus runner, right, and such a plus playmaker, right, and he has such arm talent. And
but I'm just saying,
does throw balls with touch.
To where the aspect to where a lot of teams doubted him, and he just slid.
Yeah, he slid to the bottom or middle of the first round. I think Milroe is a third or fourth round pick. I'm just going to say that.
No, that's fair.
I don't know if he's that deep, but he not. First of all, we don't need a running quarterback. That's what we don't need. So we need a quarterback that can escape. That's what we need. Milrose, I'm out on all Alabama quarterbacks, so it's not nothing you're going to say to me that's going to change my mind, because I haven't seen them translate to be barn burners in the NFL, so I'm cool.
Yeah. The quarterback I'm looking at right now that's got to be interested as well. Howard.
He good, though. He good. He gonna play good for somebody. He going to look like old boy in the Redskins. He gonna look like him. Jay Daniels.
He wish he could look that good.
No, I'm not. Okay. I'm just saying he gonna go to a team and play good and possibly bring them up like that, but it won't be the Raiders, because you don't have 2 years to sit down and then 2 years to be patient.
I got a feeling that Milroe will not go past the third round at the very I feel like he'll do good in the combine, and teams will get desperate, and he'll get picked a lot higher than the fourth round.
Totally see that. Yeah, no, I think that he will probably be picked in the third. He might even be picked late second because of the fact that has an athletic ability. But I think that for all intents and purposes, he should be a third or fourth round draft pick.
Oh yeah, right? For sure. No, I get it.
But I get it. He has a lot of upside, right? If he
very high ceiling, very high ceiling.
Yeah, if he can,
he just has to tap
flashes that you see on tape and consolidate it, right? Yeah. Exactly. Then he could be something kind of really, really special. So I could see that, right? But yeah, I like Will Howard, man. The more I look at him, the more I think that he has a chance to kind of move up on the draft board. Jackson Dart looks pretty good as well. So we'll take a look at those guys.
Jackson
forward,
Dart.
but yeah,
Ain't Jackson Dart going to Miami? No, who was that going to Miami?
No, that is Carson Beck.
Yeah, Carson Beck is going to Miami.
Carson Beck is on his Bo Nix redemption
Smart guy.
tail. He's gonna switch to another major college and redo his whole image, right? And it did work for Bo Nix. He improved. So we can see the same thing. Let's see.
Would you entertain the option if the Raiders' new coach and GM were like, "Hey, we want to trade up, and our guy is Cam Ward"?
Absolutely. Cam Ward is QB1.
Same here. He would be my prize target.
Yeah. I don't know if people heard this earlier in the show. Some of you might have joined later, but based on my assessments right now, Cam Ward looks like he's going to end up being QB1 in this class. There's just some things that he does and talent that he has that I think makes him have a higher potential than Shador. And I think that they're close enough that as far as how they play right now, that potential wins out, right? And he's a little bit stronger arm than Shador. I think he's a little bit better as far as moving within the pocket itself, not when the play breaks down, because they're both pretty damn amazing when the play breaks down. And Shador Sanders may be the best thrower of the football I've seen on the run since I started scouting. Like, it's insane. Some of the throws he makes while moving are absolute dots, which don't look like they should happen, but they do.
Yeah.
So there's something special there, right? Cam's a little bit better, just kind of making those small movements within the pocket to buy a little bit more time and then push the ball down the field rather than break the pocket totally, right? And then, once that happens, you got to kind of freelance. I think, the difference between, say, Brock Purdy and Tom Brady, right? Just in that kind of, Brock Purdy's like, I'm out the pocket, bro. And you got to come deal with that, and then I'll make a playoff.
Yeah.
Cam Ward, I think his big thing is stop with trying to make a hero play. If he can do that, then I think we would be he'd be ahead of the game, right?
Sanders kind of has a little bit of the hero ball in him too, but my biggest thing on Sanders is that he holds on to the ball too long. That is my biggest thing.
Yeah, so
he has to get rid of the ball a lot faster.
He will wait until he is sure that receiver is open. There doesn't seem to be like a ton of anticipatory trust that's happening.
Yeah.
Right. And so I don't think it's that he's not capable of it. I've seen it. But also I'd like to see it more, right? More anticipation throws instead of kind of waiting a little bit and trying to make sure the guy is open for sure. Especially because he doesn't really have the arm strength to just kind of jam it in there or something, right? He is going to be middle of the road arm strength as a pro. And Cam will be, a little above that, right?
Yeah.
Neither one of these guys has a cannon, right? So we're going to continue to kind of assess the draft class, but that's where I'm at right now on those guys. Okay. I think that what he is good at, right? The stuff that Shador is good at are all very important things, right? He seems to be great at kind of leading and rallying the team. He plays better when plays break down. He can make amazing throws and run. His accuracy is well above average. He dissects plays. He's getting to backside reads. His pre-snap stuff is good, right? He plays well when the play breaks down and there's advanced processing that needs to get done. These are all like things that are not easy to find in quarterbacks and are the most important things that signify whether someone will be good or not, right? But there are things. He's not perfect, right?
Yeah.
I just have Cam a little bit higher than him.
Same here. I've been saying the same thing about Cam. He was always 1A, and the Sanders would be 1B. Cam, I have more confident in him beating the teams in the AFC West and just in general than Sanders. I just have a little bit more confidence in Cam Ward than Sanders. I feel like Cam Ward could just turn it on when he wants to do it. You know, he'll just turn it on, boom, and he just starts throwing darts.
There is something I will say about this quarterback pick. There is a personality component I think is a little important here. We need that dude. I don't know these guys personally, right? But if you're going to be coming here to take this position and try to turn the team around,
gotta have that
swagger, uber confident, right? Like you need to have
Warren and Sanders have
fucking Giga Chad or whatever the hell, like the dude.
Giga Chad,
right?
Yeah, Giga Chad.
Around, like you gotta believe.
Shout out to the Giga Chads in the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in here, all the Giga Chads.
So interesting, right? Like Will Howard looks like he's 6'4", 240. Got a little something. He can run a little big. His arm is strong. He's athletic. Seems to be pretty damn smart. So excited to get through his tape.
He's the quarterback for Ohio State, right?
Ohio State, correct.
Okay, yeah. He looks good too.
Who knows? He can have one of those meteoric rises that happens when you make the national championship game. No one thought Burrow was going to be the number one pick until he performed for LSU in that championship game, right? Could Howard be a more athletic Brady type? That is blasphemy to compare that man to Brady.
So I don't like to put.
But is he an athletic pocket passer?
Yeah, I think
so. Yeah, I think comparing him to San Diego's quarterback would be more apt. Herbert, the great 4-interception playoff game after 3 interceptions the whole year.
Yeah.
But, it's not like anybody here predicted that might happen with that quarterback. But we'll move on. Ah, boy. So I guess kind of do a little house cleaning here. It looks like the Baltimore Ravens are going to go ahead and move on and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're up 28-14 with the ball.
That was
very little time left.
Kind of expected. I kind of figured that would be, the case here.
Mm-hmm. And we all know, or should know, that the Los Angeles or San Diego, whatever the hell, Superchargers were not so super today. And they went ahead and lost to the Houston Texans.
Texans eating that Texan barbecue right now. Eating a nice Texan little Texas ribeye.
CJ Stroud has a winning record in the playoffs.
He shrouded him up.
He is already the youngest quarterback to win a playoff game. So that was last season. And then he backs it up by winning another one this year. So shout out to CJ Stroud, the one that got away, I guess. Jared says, I want a quarterback with all ball. That's why Will Howard would be interesting. Sanders is another podcaster that could be a problem. You know what? You might be right. But you know what? It's like the other side of the pillow or coin or whatever you want to call it, right? You want a guy who's bold, who's, not afraid to, challenge the fact that this team has been bad, who's not afraid to walk in the locker room and decide to do something that Gannon would have done, right? Which is like, I'm going to grab all the freaking toys and I'm going to put them in my locker and no one's using them, right?
Yeah. I want to get a guy who's
how
going
would
to
do
come in
that, right?
and say, you know what, I'm going to be the quarterback who's going to change this franchise around right now. I'm going to be that guy who's going to go up against KC. I'm going to be the guy who's going to beat Bo Nix. I'm going to be the guy.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I want that kind of
I'm
guy
gonna
who has
prove
that
I'm better than these guys. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I get it though, right? Because the idea of just making it really simple, and not having these kind of complications with media and all that good stuff. But we're the Raiders, man. We're weird. Our players are going to be weird. That's just kind of what we do. We can try to be, more straight laced, and I get that, but I don't know if that's really worked for us. It's like when we've won, we've had some pretty dynamic characters in important places. So I think we got to try to embrace that.
Shador ain't no podcaster like that though, bro. And not only that, you don't see the quarterbacks with the podcast because they're the leaders of the team. You definitely don't want that guy out there just writing a diary of stuff out there.
Yeah,
Talking
I
about
doubt
the
that.
team. So
I doubt
I would doubt that he would come in and be that guy because he's not even that guy on social media right now. He got the temperament. He's young though, so he's gonna have some social media presence, but he's not. I don't see him being an issue with podcasting.
See, I feel like Brady and him are really not. Like, he's kind of thicker, more athletic. He reminds me of like a Herbert kind of body feel. But I
I just
agree.
think, man, I cannot wait till this shit is over because it's like we keep having the same conversation over and over and over and over and over ad litem. Like I just can't wait till this is over for real.
We have our guy is done. We can stop with it, right?
It's too much. This is why I don't get involved with it during the normal off seasons. Like I don't get all hella involved like this because 85% of these players we talking about, we are not going to speak on them again. Like unless they whooping our ass. That's it.
I hear you. I hear you. You know what? It will come back years down the road when we're more familiar with guys who are in free agency or whatever because we set them in draft, or we're playing against a player and we have a little more familiarity because we looked at him when we were possibly going to draft him. So,
maybe.
So there's the payoff, guys. Even though they may not end up here, right? Yeah, Howard is he does seem to have that kind of dog mentality, like toughness, grit. I mean, I liked a lot of what I saw of the small sample size. So we're definitely going to get to him. We have gone through Shador and Cam, and now we need to finish up games on Gabriel. We'll talk about him after that. And then I think Will Howard or Jackson Dart will be next after that. And we'll just keep rolling, guys. So any fine points that you want to get to before we get out of here, guys?
Dylan Gabriel's cool, right? But I'm just not as high on him as other fans may be. You know, he's cool.
You can
And
say
I did watch, some I did watch, some like, tape on him and stuff. My only thing is and I'm sure you guys heard this too, is just the size. That kind of makes me, you know what I mean. But he does have and a arm. He throws darts. You know what I mean. But there's other quarterbacks in this draft that I feel like we have an opportunity to get. Which, but I'll never forget when Mitchell Rent said that if we don't get Sanders, he said it is locked and sealed that we're going to get Dylan Gabriel as our quarterback. So I'm kind of like, we'll see, how much truth there is to that. So that's kind of why, I watched some like film on him, but we'll see,
It's really depending on how he measures. If the dude is actually, close to 6 feet, he comes in 5'11" and something else.
I've been so they say that he's like they swear he's 5'10". They swear he's 5'11". So you know what I mean? Like you know what? I ain't gonna get in, into like all that. I'm gonna just say, that is just height wise, that's my only concern. And trying to think of it, your boy who's in this chat, but he ain't here.
What's up, A-Train?
A-Train. He said he guaranteed that Oregon was gonna win that bowl game, bro. What happened, man? What happened, bro? What he like guaranteed it, man. Hey, I ain't trying to hate, or anything, but
it's because they had already beat them earlier in the season, so he was like, they'll just beat them again.
Yeah, and
then,
I
Howard wasn't having that, I guess.
So look, I ain't the type of guy who bases a guy's overall stature on one game. That's not me, but he did have a good game. And yeah, it was interesting to watch. But shout out to A-Train, man. If you're secretly watching here, and I ain't trying to bash you or talk crap, or like hate,
no. He's not watching. He'd be in the chat. I'll make sure to pre-warn him that you slaughtered him for being completely wrong on the show.
Yeah, he told us, he's like, hey, I'm telling y'all, man, Oregon's gonna win that bowl game.
He's like, oh, we got this bad bitch. You know what he said as soon as I called him back? He was like, yeah, no, I fucking jinxed that. So that was funny. So yeah, Tony Gabriel, interesting guy. Yeah, I'll probably be going through his assessment next. We'll see, how that ends up. Hopefully he measures close to 6 feet, and we have another viable quarterback prospect. Because the better they are, the more likely we are to get one, right? So hopefully they're all great.
Shout out to Jared. Thank you, brother. So I got the Bills beating, Broncos. That's I'm I got the Bills. I got Josh Allen. I just picture him doing his Josh Allen shit everywhere. And then I got the Eagles beating the Packers.
Okay. Yeah, I have the Eagles beating the Packers because I think
they're just and their defense, dude. Their defense is on lock, dude. Killer defense, dude.
And I think they'll just, Love will eventually try to force something and, end up paying for it as he's trying to make up for, just the toughness and all that. That's kind of what they're playing against in Philly. And I'm going to pick an upset. I have
the Broncos
beating the Bills.
Really?
I think Josh Allen, for some reason, does not play the same in playoffs.
I think he doesn't play the same against the Chiefs, but I ain't worried about the Bills and the Broncos. I mean, I really believe that the Bills will be the Broncos. I think Broncos do, and I hate to say this as a fan of RB11 Raiders, but they do got a good team. Their defense is great, right? But I feel like Bo Nix has some growing pains to do, and
you may be right. You may be right.
Sean Payton will try to throw the kitchen sink, and I feel like that the Denver defense will be outgunned by the offense of the Bills.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it absolutely could go the other way, right? I just something in my gut.
So you think it's going to be a low scoring game?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you got Broncos. We agree with the Eagles. How about
2017 or something like that, right? Or 24-20 or some crap, right?
okay?
Because Josh Allen has a stinker, right? Which happens sometimes. Where he has those games, you're like, what are you doing, bro? Who are you throwing that to? Like, what is going on? How are you 6-22? What is this? Right?
I feel like Josh Allen is like when Jordan was playing the Detroit Pistons. You know what I mean? Like he had
Oh
that.
no.
You know what I mean? He had that problem. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I feel like he's got to do something, you know, you know. But that's exactly how I see it, dude. It's like Bulls and the Pistons, man.
I hear you on that one. What do you think? What do you think, Sam? What we got in the playoffs? What's your idea of what's going to happen here?
What games?
So we got Bills Broncos. What's your prediction there?
That'll be over by halftime.
Okay, so you got a blowout by the Bills. I'm
I don't
assuming.
know if it'll be a blowout, but it'll be over. All they gotta do is score 21 points. So,
Okay, damn. I guess we'll see how that works out. And then we have Eagles
And
Packers.
is Jalen Hurts playing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
he's back.
I don't know.
If Hurts was not back, then I'd go for the Packers.
I'll give it to I'll give it to the Eagles still.
Okay, makes sense. And then what are the other matchups? Help me out, Chad. I will say that I think I have a flashback of last season, Josh Allen playing really poorly against the Broncos and losing that game, and they didn't even have Bo Nix at the time. Just saying.
Who the Vikings playing?
Vikings get. Hold on, let me get the playoff layout for you guys real quick.
I'm ready to make my final two teams that will be in the bowl game, man. But I'll wait.
In the big Super Bowl bowl, huh?
In the big
So we have Rams Vikings. And the Rams are the home team.
The Vikings should win that.
Right, because they're wait. Yeah, it should be the Rams are the 4 seeds. So yeah. You got the Vikings winning that one, and then Bucks versus Commanders.
Buccaneers will win that game.
In Tampa. Yeah. You got the Bucks winning that one.
If the Commanders do win that game, boy, that's gonna be something to see. That game can go either way because that game pivots on the arm of Baker Mayfield. So we don't know which Baker Mayfield gonna come out.
I see him throwing it to Evans all game.
If Baker Mayfield come out thinking we supposed to win this game versus let me go win this game, then that's gonna be the difference in the game.
So Lions will get the winner of that 4-5 Rams Vikings matchup, and we'll see between Bucks, Commanders, Eagles, Packers. They're in the bracket together. We already know that we're going to get a Chiefs Texans game, and the Ravens will be playing the winner of the Bills Broncos game. All right, so Chiefs are already looking like they're having a nice, clean, easy path forward. We're gonna get a bye week and then play the youngest.
I'm gonna say it now. Chiefs are not gonna go back to the Super Bowl. I'm calling it right now. Calling it right now.
Yeah, I don't think they get past the Ravens if they have to play them. That's my opinion. So, but we'll see. Because one team has proven it in the playoffs and one team has not.
So for sure in the AFC, my pick for the AFC is Baltimore. I think they're gonna go through and they're gonna
that was
rep
my preseason pick,
and
actually.
they're gonna rep the AFC. And the NFC is a bit tougher because I have the final two teams being the Lions and the Eagles. But I think it's
Mhm.
gonna be Baltimore. And if I had to pick at the end of the day between the Eagles and the Lions, I'm gonna have to go with the Eagles. So I'm gonna say right now I'm calling it. The Super Bowl will be the Battle of the Birds.
Gotcha. So tough one. I don't know. Okay, so it feels like Detroit has like some kind of
Like they're firing on all cylinders, right? But I
like
just got
they
a
have a
feeling
mojo happening right now. You know what I mean?
I got a feeling that one spark plug is gonna misfire in that engine
Mm-hmm.
and their car's gonna stall out, dude. It's gonna just
Just
I
the
mean,
wrong time at the top of the hill. Huh?
yeah, like they look great, but you know what I mean. I just got a feeling, that's just my gut instinct here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have some family members that are Vikings fans, so that'd be interesting to see them kind of move forward. Shout out to my uncle Kenneth, who's been a long-standing, suffering Vikings fan, watching them lose 4 Super Bowls. Man, that's rough, right? So that'd be interesting to see them kind of have a chance to get back there and get off that schneid. Detroit has never won one, so that'd be interesting as well. I think the most interesting scenario would be, if we got like a Detroit versus Baltimore final, and that's what I'm predicting because I like fun. So Baltimore versus Lions in the Super Bowl is my prediction, and I think that the MVP walks away with a Super Bowl, and it is the other Harbaugh once again outclassing his brother. He beats him every time they play, it seems like, and then he's hoisting Super Bowls over him, and not so much for.
I think the Eagles
He's his older
defense.
brother, 2 years older. Just saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Eagles defense could go up with Lions offense, and we've seen during this season that sometimes that Lions don't really get it going offensively sometimes when it
Mm-hmm.
counts, and when they do, it's too late. You know what I mean? Like I've seen games where St. Brown don't do anything, La Porta don't do anything, but Gibbs always gets his right, but.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't too many games because they're like 14-3 or whatever, something like that.
No, no, yeah, but it's just I feel like in the playoffs, especially in the playoffs, like there's no room for error, and you got to keep hitting
We
because
shall see. I'll tell you
one
this
play,
much:
could
if they do flame out and have a bad offensive performance, does that make you think twice about Ben Johnson?
no, because if they do play the Eagles, I believe that the Eagles defense is just that damn good.
That's funny. Okay. I would hope that there's not a defense that damn good if we're going to make him head coach. So I still feel the same way. I think that I get the whole hype around Ben Johnson. He's not a safe pick though. He doesn't have head coach experience, which is something that I wanted to have from whoever we choose.
Okay, what's your name?
So I think that the chance that we end up feeling a little bit frustrated about, how that ends up is higher than if we go and just go get somebody who we know can do the job in totality, right? I get that he's a superstar right now and all that stuff, but at the same time, so was Josh McDaniels for a while. So it was
absolutely
Norv Turner for a while. So it was, what did you say with the offensive coordinator from the Patriots, Weiss, right?
Charlie Weiss.
Absolute offensive geniuses. He's going to revolutionize everything. And then what happened, right? So,
and then fans too, that they like, I hate to be the one who brings us back down from our super high cloud nine, right? But we got to expect just in case, because really it's Ben Johnson's job if he really wants it. And if he doesn't want it, like Raider fans, you got to get ready and get braced for, hey, like Ben Johnson ain't going to be our guy. So we got to go with the next person. So I'm going into it like, I would embrace Ben Johnson and I would like him to, but I'm also have that in the back of my head, like, all right, like he might not be our coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll see. If he is, he's a Raider. I will support it from 100%. I will try to have faith in Brady and them and what they're looking at and a real professional in this process. So that makes me feel a lot better about whoever we choose. And if it happens to be Ben Johnson, then I'm going to be inclined to believe that those guys know more than me, right? But I do have these reservations. And so log it for the future. That's all.
I think, I'm going to call it now. If we get Ben Johnson, I'd say it, but the tickets are going to get even higher for next year.
It went up anyway, man.
They
went up already. Yeah, it's done. Prices went up. Today's price is not yesterday's price.
As the great wasted talent puts on from Joey Crack, Joey Crack himself,
That's right. Man. So, I think that was inevitable. Some people were like, oh, this means we're getting Shador because the prices went up. And I'm like, that's interesting. I think the prices would have went up if we didn't get Shador. I think prices would have went up if a meteor was coming to hit the earth.
What's crazy too is that a lot of prices will go up, especially during the combine. A lot of prices will go higher. Some could drop, right? But most of the time, they usually go up.
Tickets prices dropped. Can somebody tell me that? Like, holy mess. I don't even know. Maybe the age did it because they had to or something. Yeah. I think that's mostly so. You said something about Spagnola, right?
Don't want anything to do with him.
Nothing to do with him, huh?
I'm glad that we brought him in for an interview so we could pick his mind and be like, so what do you think about the state of our team? What do you see as a weakness? Blah, 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 blah. Because then, we kind of pick his brain, right? Because as of right now, he's in that red and white, right? But if and I'm really big on track record, on track history too. Like he's been coaching. So if I'm correct, he's been coaching since '83. He's been coaching for a long time, plenty of coaching experience, which is what
65
the Raiders want, right? But his stint as a head coach was terrible, and some people are just better off being a coordinator, and that's how I feel with Steve Spagnuolo. Great coordinator, great defensive mind, but do I want him to run the whole show? Unfortunately, no. And I know that I've talked to like some fans too. They're like, Spags, sign him right now, and I'm just like, hey, we're all entitled, to our opinion, but that one I strongly disagree.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he hasn't really been a head coach since like 2010-ish, back when he was like with the Rams, right? They were bad the first year. He did go 7-9 at one point, and then they went 2-14 the year after.
Was
that.
Was
7-9,
years?
2-14.
That was the years they had Bolger, right?
I believe, yeah.
Was it Bolger?
Matt Bolger.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he was over there like with Stafford and shit or whatever. Like,
yeah. But still, like you know what, Tom Brady. I'm telling you right now, Tom Brady, Richard Seymour. I just don't see it happening. I just don't like when there's coaches out there like Pete Carroll and shit. Like, why the F are we gonna hire this guy Spags when we gotta just hire Pete Carroll, or some other coach who I feel is better suited for us, right now. And especially coming from the under wing of Reed too, like Reed makes a lot of coaches look good. And I've always spoken differently about Eric Bieniemy. That's just my personal choice on that. But on the defensive side, it's I think Reed will know exactly what Spags is drawing on defense. He's gonna know. Yeah, I just don't see it working. I just don't.
Okay, fair enough. One thing that's a huge strike against him is that when he had his opportunity for the Rams, he brought in an offensive coordinator, and that was Josh McDaniels. So,
really,
yeah. His first season they went 1-15.
Was that after Josh left Denver?
That was after his Denver
shit
thingy. Yeah. Yep. He kind of reassessed and then went back to the Patriots, and then at some point stiffed the Colts, and then decided to come back over here. So, but yeah, he did hire him. It's kind of weird what happened with that team. I don't know how you go 1-15, 7-9, 2-14. One of the weirdest things I've ever seen. But that's what happened. So, it was a long time ago. A lot of times coaches are better in their second stint. But I just think it's interesting that you had such a strong opinion on Spags. And so I kind of want to hear where you're coming from there.
Yeah, there's only three coaches who I'm eyeing in this. That's Ben Johnson, Pete Carroll, and Bill Belichick. Like that's my like the ones that I would be happy hiring. And I feel like the safer picks that you can't go wrong with would be either Pete Carroll or Bill Belichick.
That's fair. All right. Black, I know you said that you felt like basically it would be that we can't pass up on Ben Johnson, even though he doesn't have the experience or whatever as a head coach.
If that's what they feel, shoot, I ain't high on him.
Gotcha.
Everybody and their mama high on him. I got my own pack. I'm high on my own pack. But now, if everybody feel like that's what we should do, I'll go with it. It's cool, whatever.
Who's your first choice?
Somehow to pull it off, then hey, go for it.
Who's at the top of your pack then? If it ain't Ben Johnson,
I don't care. Give Gruden his money back, man. Let that man have he was doing this thing, man. He still was supposed to be under contract. We're supposed to do everything we're supposed to do to get that man back his position. Just as long as he don't come back asking for hella more or something than before, because when he left, the Raiders did it in a nice way. They did it in a respectable way, which is something that we normally don't do. So that told me a lot how they felt about Gruden. So they did it in a way where the door was still open. Well, the door, if it's open, let him come in. If he's knocking. So, I mean, like, other than that, man, I don't care about all this stuff. Because, like I said, it could be anybody. It's kind of like we all about a campfire wondering what's going to happen. And then when it happened, we all was wrong.
So, no, we're all going to be so wrong. That's what's so good about it.
John Gruden, I wouldn't mind him like at all. Like I said earlier, he's my favorite coach who's been the coach of the Raiders, because I've seen him like when I was growing up as a fan, seeing him, he first got hired, taking us to the playoffs, all that, right? And I was devastated when he left us and went to Tampa Bay, but I wouldn't mind it. It's just I just don't see it happening. That's kind of why I didn't put it on my coach watch list. But if he were, to be hired, that's great, right? I just don't have it as high on my list because I don't see it happening. We're still paying coaches off that we previously had still, and I just don't really see it. But if Tom and Mark, were like, hey, let's go back at it. Here's a good
Here's
deal.
something.
And
Here's the thing, though. We know how Mark feels about John Gruden.
Oh, he loves him. He loves him.
Okay.
He loves him just like I do. He loves him just like I do. He's enamored with them.
We also know that a certain quarterback was willing to come play under John Gruden with a tight end.
But John Gruden didn't say,
happen.
But he didn't. But John Gruden said no to that deal because of what? So let's talk about the truth
Derek
to that.
Carr. Derek Carr.
So that ain't really
he chose Carr.
So that was the stain on John Gruden, was that, because I was pissed off about that too. Because trust me, Derek Carr is great, but when you have the chance to get Tom Brady and Gronk, you make that deal happen. You bring them both in.
Yeah, it's not like they didn't go and win a Super Bowl or anything. Just saying that he had enough respect for Gruden that he would, play under him. And so that's interesting. Just saying, you never know. Maybe that's what's going on here. Is that they both?
I can make a whole separate segment, a whole different separate podcast live on this about how we didn't get Tom Brady on that. So it still bothers me. That still bothers me. Watching Jim Harbaugh coach the Chargers right now bothers me still. Like there's, trust me, there's
really?
There's
Don't worry. This was the best that they're going to be under him. Don't worry. Okay.
But at least they're in. So I'll say this over and over because we have our difference of opinion on Harbaugh, right? It's just at least he gives them the chance to punch their ticket into the playoffs, and that's right. All that we can ask for is to just give us a chance, go into the playoffs, and
doesn't he need to manage the game in a way that gives us a chance to win?
Make magic happen. And Jim Harbaugh gave him a chance in his first year there.
Okay.
Change that.
He
defense around. He changed that defense
really
around. Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, man.
No, this is the honeymoon phase. This is as good as it gets.
Oh, hey! If we had his ass too, we'd all be in the honeymoon phase too.
Until next season when he was trading everyone.
Oh man!
So anyway,
hey, that's you have your take on the whole burned out thing and the 4 years, and that's cool, brother. I just but hey, I just don't see it, and I'm pissed off.
How long was he at Michigan again? I'm just thinking. Carried to 3. 4 years.
How many times did he win at each place that he went to?
So
aside from the Niners, but he won in college.
Oh, he won in college. That's what you were saying. Because I remember he didn't win in the pros.
Winning in but he turned programs around and he gave them a chance to go deep into the playoffs. So
and then he leaves them in such a good position that afterwards they continue to be good. Oh wait.
So you could hate, on that part, right? But I wouldn't even be mad at all if he's taken to our team to consecutive playoff appearances and chances to go to the Super Bowl.
But then he left
baffled me about
and they were horrible. What was the Niners'
Hey,
record after he left?
that's your opinion. He left, and then who was hired after that? And then there were Jim Tom Sula didn't do nothing. Jack squat. Whatever program that he
I thought
went to,
Harbaugh
he
put in a
turned.
thing and just
Hey,
totally
listen.
had a
Whatever
system
program that he went to, and it doesn't matter how much you hate Harbaugh. No matter what program he
they
went to,
became relevantly.
he made him win. He gave him winning season.
He
Gave
won
him winning
national
season
championship once. Otherwise, they didn't win nothing.
from college to the pros. So,
Where did he win in the pros? Did I miss that?
did he go to the Super Bowl?
He lost.
When's the last time we were there? How many times were we in the playoffs and the Niners were consecutively there? So you would rather be in a playoff drought and not even taste it at all than
I would rather be in a playoff drought than have a coach that is just a dead end. That is never ever going to be sustainable because everyone hates him.
No.
Just wait.
No.
Time will tell.
There's only one
I remember
person.
people started telling me that this Herbert guy was really good at quarterback too. And then,
there's only one person who I heard talk bad about Harbaugh, and that was Sherman. I haven't heard
and Doug Baldwin.
Somebody else.
And Doug Baldwin.
Who else?
Both. Doug Baldwin was on that team and talks the same way about him.
Okay, so that's two.
They were
out of
all
players. So but think about it, all the
other it is guys, not just go ask the Niners. It's like the whole Niners team too. Ask Cap how he feels about him.
I have to see proof of that.
Ask Alex Smith.
Well, Alex Smith is pissed off because he chose Colin Kaepernick. That's why he's salty. Like Alex Smith, like he wasn't that guy. Like hey, like that's what Pete Carroll does too. Like Pete Carroll will put the best player in. He doesn't matter how long you've been there. It's the best player. So it just blows my mind here how you would rather be in a playoff drought, not even taste it, just keep losing,
then
have a coach to take you to consecutive back to back playoff
because people matter more,
to the Super Bowl. You're the one and only person I've heard ever. So I guess that makes you the diamond in the rough ticket. That's a
Harbaugh winner, brother. That was a strawman argument because actually what I said was that I would rather not have a coach who is detrimental to the locker room and decimates it because the way that he treats players and the way that he disposes of talent, right? I think that he leaves your team bereft of any chance to move forward successfully, and he does not win the big thing when he's there. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be different this time, but they just lost in the first round.
Well, his team at Michigan when he left did fairly well.
College is not the same.
But still, you're saying
and how good is Michigan again?
But
fairly well. Who's Michigan's record?
He has players. He has an eye for talent. I could throw jabs, brother, back and forth with you all day on this, man.
Oh, I'm sure Michigan's unranked. So,
and well, why? Because he ain't there coaching, right?
Oh, so that's what we're using? Okay. I thought he had a system that he was making. He was so good at, and he left teams in good positions. What happened?
Well, kind of like the Patriots,
They're
right?
seventh
kind of
in their division like is what they finished.
Right? When Belichick left, right?
What are you talking about?
When there's a good coach who has a good program. Okay. All right, look. So let's just throw that out. But just general back. Let's focus on Harbaugh here. If you're going to win at every, aside from the NFL, but wherever he's gone in college or the pros, whatever team he's coached, has had a winning season and went to the postseason. So that's something that we haven't had in a long time. and you could have your take, your own bit on it.
No, I think he is one of the. He's that coach. He's the coach that he's a program builder.
On that.
I think he's a program builder who is toxic and therefore doesn't actually build the program. Right? He should be the coach that gets you to a certain place, and then you may have to get another coach to take you over the top and win Super Bowl. But he doesn't do that because he destroys people and he destroys the cohesiveness of the locker room. He trades out players that challenge him, and he is, I think, toxic.
He's an old school type of coach, who takes no.
He's not Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells still gained the respect of everybody, but he would wear himself out too. So,
thank you. Thank you. So, bro, so you just answered it. I mean, you just said it all for me right there with your take on Bill. So
what? Bill Parcells did wear his welcome out, but he would win Super Bowls.
But he's a damn great. But he's a damn great coach. Yeah,
but he's not Bill Parcells.
But he takes his team to the playoffs. He takes
playoffs into Super Bowl.
We haven't been there for so long. Okay. So I guess it's good with. So I guess it's good with you to where you don't want to be in the postseason.
I want to win the Super Bowl, or I don't care because there's one winner and 31 losers.
How do you get to the Super Bowl? How do you get to the Super Bowl?
By winning a bunch of games in a season. That's what I just said. By winning a bunch of games in a season, and then winning playoff games. Has he won a Super Bowl? I'm just waiting.
When is the last time we have been there? When is the last time we've been there? Thank you. So I'm gonna just say I feel like my take on this, brother, is there's nothing you can tell me, brother. You
can go and to the red room and just watch, I guess. But that's not what I'm there for. So anyway, it's been 3 hours. We are past our bedtimes and all that good stuff. So it's time to say goodbye and shake some hands or whatever you do at the end. So I think that pretty much wraps up. I don't have anything else I need to get out. You guys have anything else?
I do. So before I go, if I were to do a public survey, a poll asking people if you would rather have Harbaugh take our team to consecutive playoff appearances and have a chance to punch their ticket to even contest for a Super Bowl by getting to the playoffs, the majority of them would say yes. So that's all, you know what I mean? I get your take, brother, but I kind of feel, it's a little.
I have no problem being different. I mean? I don't. No. I don't like base myself on what other people.
I'm just trying to I just
don't care.
Facts here, brother.
If we go to the playoffs to lose.
I'm just. But you gotta go to the playoffs to have a chance at winning the Super Bowl.
But you don't have a chance if you lost.
That's just. But you got to win in the season to get to the playoffs. That is my whole thing. You have to win to get to the playoffs. You got to win to get to the playoffs. To get to even punch your ticket to the Super Bowl. You got to get to the playoffs. You got to crawl before you walk, right?
No.
Okay, so you just run.
Yes. Teams do it all the time. They go from out of the playoffs.
Thank you. Case closed. Okay, I'm done.
Go through this step thing where they go to the playoffs and then they lose and they go. Those teams just end up losing a bunch in the playoffs. So anyway,
okay. That's people. That's why the show is great. We all have our takes here. We ain't holding hands. We're not singing kumbaya. See, we jaw back and forth too. So cut all that bull crap. All right.
Stop being so sensitive, guys. It's okay. Right? It's okay. All right. So, Black's like, you motherfuckers. You got anything you want to say? All right. So now that you got that out of your system, We can wrap it up. So I'll start with what I always say, which is, stay positive, man. Life's hard. And read in between the lines. That's where it's at.
Absolutely.
And what do you have to say there, Western?
I just want to say, thank you guys for watching the show, tuning in. Please make sure to like and sub to our channel. It's free. It don't cost anything at all. You'll hear our crazy takes, my wild west ass shit. You know what I mean? I bring to the table and I say, and we don't like to, hold back here. We say what we feel is currently on our mind. And I have some upcoming things in the works where I will be doing my my breakdowns, on certain players on the draft. So keep an eye out for that. And I just got to say, thanks for tuning into the show, and keep it cool, keep it light, and keep it fresh.
There you go. Make sure you sub to my boy. Make sure you find my boy Black and sub up to him. And, come check us out. We get a little crazy on Wednesdays in case you wanted a different flavor with that water park after dark. Some of y'all know what that is.
Water park after dark.
It's just what it is. For real. It's adult TV.
It's adult conversation at adult time.
18 and up, all right? You got to show your ID as soon as you go to the chat.
Children. No little children. We are checking IDs. We're going to ask you real quick. What's your birthday? You got to type it real fast. If you get it wrong,
you will be carded.
So, but yeah, y'all just, thank you. For real. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, stay hot, y'all. Good night.
Later.